they don't want it with me. You got a problem with me? Love, you don't want it with me. Man, you won't ever stop me. Who y'all really got a problem with? Who y'all really trying to solve it with? Who don't really like the sound of this? Who come with me getting down to this? You better step back, get your neck cracked, get laid down where you best step. Better check that with a fresh map, get lost now with no extract. Like look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see beating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving that, giving up, no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me. Ay, sound the alarm. We about to go on. You getting it wrong. Time to go off. Can't hold us back. Truth hurts, you always that. My truth lurks, say y'all collapse. Now scoop first, where your homies at? Come my team with me right now. My team's on me right now. But what you mean y'all out? It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me.
scenario. Win, 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 yeah, we on a roll. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, we like 10 and 0. I should probably tell them something that they didn't know. Back then we was down with nowhere to go. Might have been down, but we didn't fall. Now we running it like some intervals. Ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who us now? What you gon' do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when I come through you. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who us now? What you gon' do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, give me that crown. I need that now, right now. Ooh, don't make a sound. It's my time. You hear the crowd. Hey, we need that rain. Me and my team. Deja vu. This here a dream. We done all seen 100 times over back when we was just teens. Now we going dumb. Told them we the one. They would count us out. Now we counting up the funds. Now without a doubt, they be throwing up the ones. Like they was always rapping. Now believe them if you want. Now they show love. Came with it done. It is what it is. It isn't what it was. They all love to hate when it don't work out. Tell you that they always been down when it does. Look. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who us now? What you gon' do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who us now? What you gon' do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Ooh. player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fire through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already, emotional, working devotion. We put in this time, look. You won't stop my stride. I'll just break your line. I don't tolerate wasted time. You take us down, keep fighting.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
It's Tuesday, but no day is not a day for Free Fire. Welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 2 Challenge Group Stage, Phase number 2, Day number 2. Well, that's a mouthful. My name is Husky. Alongside me is Victor. We actually completed 6 monstrous rounds yesterday between 12 teams who are vying for 6 spots to go to Jakarta, but we're not done just yet. The journey has just begun, and today is the second day for that journey.
Yep, another day, another battle to look forward to. 6 more battles to go, and the thing is, we're going to be having slightly different maps as well, so the pacing, I think, of the battle is going to be of utmost importance for today specifically. But nevertheless, though, it's still going to be the same 12 teams vying for the final 6 slots. Get to Jakarta, and let's go ahead and find out what exactly they are fighting for, because it's not just those 6 slots. I have to remind you, we also have money on the line.
Yeah, and of course, so first place by the end of the group stage walks away with $30,000 and all the way down to $1,500 in 17 and 18 place. But for the sake of phase number 2, we just need to look at the second half of the prize pool chart, starting with the $3,250 because the first 6 slots have been, well, technically booked. It's been booked actually by the 6 representatives that were sent or that qualified for Jakarta by the end of last week. So the remaining 12 teams are looking for the smaller part of the share, but nonetheless, it is something for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's still money at the end of the day for these guys just from playing these 6 days of competition. So naturally, you know, they're going to still play their hearts out and try their very best to get as high up as possible, because just by looking at that, you know, it's like just by gaining from 15 to 14 plays, you earn another $250. You go from 13 to 12, you earn another $500. And then if you go from from 9th to 8th, that's already $750 extra bucks. But really, the big money though, and this is why everyone is all vying for that 6th spot, the last 6 slots to Jakarta, is the main prize pool for the challenge finals. This is where money gets even more large.
Yeah, and to put it into perspective, you can be in 12th place by the end of the group stage, but if you win the finals, you technically get more prizes pool than everyone else, essentially.
Yeah,
that's just maths. But of course, to get there, you gotta qualify first. And if a team does win first place, then sure, $65,000 on top of whatever they have already gotten from the group stage. It is a lot of money, but you know, to get to that money, you gotta get through those stages, and those stages are governed by our point system. 12 points for a booyah, all the way down to 0 if you are in 11 or 12 place by the end of a round. And if you get a kill, each kill will give you 1 point.
So one more thing I want to expand on, though, is that right now we are in phase 2 of the group stage. So these teams have also actually played in phase 1 and actually earned points from there. But what we've done for phase 2 is that we're taking those phase 1 points, have them complete for every single team, and then carry forward those points into phase 2. So some of these teams, you know, started off phase 2 with a good lead, actually. Teams like Sem9, V-Gaming Esports. But there are also other teams, you know, on this other page there that haven't really done as well in phase 1. Now they're actually having a good chance to get back into the competition, because with the points being halved, it means that a lot of the lead has been evaporated and things are much more level, I think, especially at ground level.
Yeah, it makes it really, really interesting. And the map pool, just like Victor talked about early on, is also one of a minor switch up that makes this so much more competitive. We start with Purgatory and Alpine. Afterwards, we head to Bermuda and Kalahari, and we will end the night with Purgatory and Alpine again. It's a kind of a break from the conventional 2 maps per day. Now we play all of the maps, just with a 2 repeating depending on the day that we're on, and this will be the map pool for today. And on top of that, we also got to look at the overall standings, and earlier on, Victor also explained that all the points that these teams got from the first phase were cut by half, and this is how it stands by the end of day number 1. Sem9 still in the lead, Expand making it to the 2nd place, V-Gaming Esports, Heavy and Team Flash carrying the Vietnam flag in 3rd to 5th, and King of Gamers Club all the way from last place in the first phase to 6th place in phase number 2. And despite, you know, the division bringing the points closer to each for all the teams, we are still seeing kind of a hierarchy between first and second page.
Indeed we do, because like when you look at the second page itself, most of the teams are still hovering around 100 points, whereas like Sem9 and Expand are already pushing into the 200. So you can see there's a huge gulf even in terms of how many points these teams have been able to get from both phase 1 and phase 2, mind you. So I think one thing that you can also observe from here is that the different sort of power levels when it comes to the regions here. I mean, we've got a lot of Vietnamese teams right now in that first page, but at the same same time, you also see kind of like a scatter of Malaysian teams there. Sendai and Expand currently first and second. FARANG and Axis Esports stuck in like the top of the second page and also the bottom of the second page. So very interesting to see how some of these regions are actually performing in this phase of the competition.
Yeah, and of course for the teams to watch at least for the first 2 rounds, we got King of Gamers Club from Thailand and of course Sendai and Expand from Malaysia. And just to kind of add on to kind of the scattering of Malaysian teams, FARANG did start phase 2 on that first page, but yesterday was kind of not a day for them. They were shut down at a lot of those mid-rounds, not able to get much of a headway. So hopefully this changes today. I think these teams still have 30 total rounds to go through across the next 5 days. But I think it's about time for some of these teams to really wake up, especially those on the second page.
Exactly, and because we already finished the first day, we already saw a lot of those top line teams actually try to push the lead, extend it even further. Conversely, we also seen a lot of teams make their way out of that second page and into the first one. King of Gamers being one very shining example of a team that made massive climbs during that first day. So I think for day number 2, there's going to be even more pressure now for those teams in the second page to do a similar performance there and see whether or not they can make it to that first page there, I think.
Absolutely, and all of this is brought to you by none other than our partners and friends over at Snapdragon Elite Gaming, when winning matters. This is technically week number 3 of the entire challenge group stage, and this format is definitely a bit better. I think season 1 all 18 teams play until the end, but now we kind of remove the bulk of the front runners. We send the Thai teams on their way so that they don't get to interfere with the rest of the 12 squads. And I like the fact that you brought out the power rankings, because it's fair to say that Thailand is at the top. Now we get to see Malaysia and Vietnam kind of tussle for the second and third spot.
And that's the thing, we also like to remind you guys as well to check out some of our other sponsors as well, but also to go ahead and check us out when we come to Jakarta, because that's going to be happening on the 4th or 5th of February 2023. That's where the grand finals of the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire will be taking place. So if you happen to be within Jakarta or close to Jakarta, thinking about making a trip, thinking about a holiday destination for February of next year, why don't you choose Jakarta as your spot there, because you're going to be able to meet a lot of your favorite Free Fire champions, as well as Free Fire squads that are the top of the class literally here in Southeast Asia.
This really feels like, when we get to Jakarta, it would feel like a bit of a mini World Series in Southeast Asia alone, because we literally have 2 world champions already qualified and waiting there. So they have, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months plus to kind of prep for the grand finals. And if you guys want to make your predictions in Twitch chat, do so. We have so many rounds to go through. Yesterday was the rise of the Vietnam region. They got 5 out of 6 booyahs, and if that continues today, I think I'm gonna go back and cry myself to sleep.
Oh no, come on. I mean, the Malaysian squads are still like first and second right now, to be fair. It's just that we're kind of like disappointed to see that FARANG and Axis have been struggling a lot. But I think this speaks to how, intense the competition is when it comes to the regional stage. Because I think like one of the reasons why tiny teams from Thailand are so not only competitive but also so super massively skilled is literally because the region itself is that competitive. When you have other teams that are not only just as skilled but something even better than you, that kind of pushes you to improve your own abilities. And I think that Thailand is one of those regions where, especially for esports, you've got so many really good players, really good teams actually active within that scene, to the point that they literally push each other so hard that they literally have become a region that is so strong when it comes to these kind of games.
Yeah, and for those who might not be familiar with Free Fire history, I mean, Thailand has won 3 out of 4 World Series that we've had
my point.
since 2019. We started in Rio, Brazil won that one, but afterwards the trophy has stayed in Thailand and is still in Thailand. So for anyone who wants to get that World Champion or Series trophy, you gotta wait until next year, and you gotta try to get through the Thai teams. But for now, we gotta get onto the matter at hand. It's gonna be Purgatory for map number 1 between these 12 teams. Best part is that they don't need to worry about not switching groups. This is going to be their opponents until the very end of phase number 2. More time to adapt. And we're seeing a bit of a shift. 7-9 now taking Mode House.
Yeah, I mean, we used to see Anxiety kind of take Mode House yesterday itself, but I think Anxiety are thinking more about playing the long game here, because they're kind of late in jumping out of the plane, which tells me that they want to try to find an area that's a little bit more clear and less heavy on action, so that they can focus more more on their farm. Unfortunately, they are landing the same island together with Flash. In the meantime, MDH, another Vietnamese squad here that hasn't been as successful as their fellow veteran who are in that first page, are now getting into a bit of a fight now. Nuke getting himself knocked down, but the Axel also being able to, Axel getting the trade onto him. Nero's trying his very best to find a trade, finds one in the form of too fast, but then now they are going to be scrambling around to see if they can spot any other members of Expanse, because right now MDH has gotten Nuke back, but they haven't really been able to keep an eye out for where Expanse's position is, so they are spreading out a little bit, making sure they hold their positions and find some good cover. But we also see that other squads are starting to get into the mix as well. First Raiders down by the north inside.
Both MDH and Expand have already sent one of their members to kind of be away from this compound just in case they suffer a wipeout. And it seems like this time it's going to be Expand losing that fight. You know, MDH getting some sweet revenge, partially courtesy from First Raiders who are coming to crash the party. Good news for Expand, Cobra has already gone far away from this area, so he should be able to revive the rest of his team. Gotta keep running though, Cobra, because this is a very populated zone and you don't want to be the first team to get knocked out. At least not after having such a solid lead yesterday.
Well, if FR wants to be a third party in this fight right now, they're going to have to commit really hard, but I think it's going to be difficult given that MDH is able to get themselves back to full strength with Nuke being revived. And NP is going to find a couple of members of FR trying to flank him, so he's going to put a few hot shots. Unfortunately, he's going to get knocked down by Lozzy though, as Anxiety is meanwhile locked in their own battle there going on in the south side. First Raiders though, they're still holding on to this site here. Souza getting a good grenade shot against Minero, and what a good play here by Don't Cry, pointing out the blue walls, but unfortunately he can only hold out for so long before the double pistols from Lozzy puts an end to his streak here. So First Raiders successfully third-partying the fight against MDH, sending them straight to the lobby.
This is an absolute tragedy for MDH. You know, at first we did see them send one of their members away, but perhaps they got a bit of confidence after they were winning the skirmish against Expand, not realizing that First Raider came to the compound. And just a very brutal way to go out, but maybe First Raiders will now face the wrath of their compadres from Indonesia. You know, they were United showing up to Brasilia. Definitely a very hot zone. Cobra still looking for revival point. There is one near campsite, as long as he doesn't get spotted out by VGM. But, you know, First Raiders, they don't have much time to kind of recuperate themselves. Not much room to breathe. They are United slowly encircling this area. Lozzy, you have to be the first point of contact, trying to play ring around the Rosie, but unfortunately surrounded from multiple angles and only a couple of glue walls to keep him safe. He is still putting on those dancing shoes, tries to swing the corner to catch out Virus, but Virus has the better weapon, the double barrel shotgun, ending it all. Lozzy goes down.
Yep. Right now, with things happening here, I really consider this a fourth party now or a fifth party here, because First Raiders, they would want third partying MDH versus Expand early on. Now they're getting third party here by DEWA, so now a fourth challenger has entered the ring, and DEWA seems to be very rapidly moving around Brasilia here, trying to see if they can wrap around and try to catch First Raiders with a little bit down. But Darko catches one of them just around the eyesight. In the meantime, Aikal gets himself taken down there by a nice sniper shot from DEWA, so this is putting even more pressure on the First Raiders here. I think they're going to have to think about peeling back here. Unfortunately, Souza is still going to be too close there to escape, so he's likely going to try to hold his ground here to allow his teammate to escape.
Good news for Expand, they are all back on the map. It's going to take them a while to, you know, kind of arm themselves again, but at least they're still in the round. First Raiders continuing to try and kind of peel away from the rest of DEWA United, but unfortunately they are very much split up. Souza will have to buy as much time as possible to ensure the survival of his team. Just probably surrender himself to DEWA United at the very end of this, but not without putting up a fight. Souza still staying alive, only a tree to protect him. Finally gunned up by Virus. It's looked very easy. DEWA United claiming the third point.
Yep, it seems too easy for them, but it's because Souza has gotten away. But oh, look at where First Raiders has just bumped into, literally into the middle of Sem 9 here. Darkall's been spotted. A single shot from Zen OP ends his life right there. First Raiders Eclipse sent to the lobby in 11th place.
Sometimes you wish you just were not wearing a helmet. It's very unlucky circumstances for First Raiders, and we're seeing a foot chain, right? So MDH again Expand, MDH gets eaten, and then afterwards it's First Raiders. Sem9 getting a free one out of that. VGM still very much out in the open. They were spotted out by DEWA, I believe, from Anxiety, who was driving around in a car, but Expand finally using that space, able to use the space that they got early on, but thanks to Cobra escaping, they're gonna get some ammo, some of their resources, now holding a high ground as well. Axis engaging with DEWA United. It seems like the cycle just keeps on going.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be the stage of the competition now that things could be cooling down a bit. I'm not going to be expecting to see many teams, except for those who are gathered in the center of the circle here, really to try to find any fights. But, you know, outside of teams like Sem9, Expand, the other squads are definitely going to have to try to see what good opportunities lie in front of them without exposing themselves to too much risk, because the last thing they will want is just continue feeding these higher tier teams there, at least in terms of overall score, and just basically not being able to benefit off of that as well. So that's why we're seeing a lot more third partying going on here, because it seems like the best kind of strategy is literally be the last person to show up to any big fight here.
Kind of normally, you know, eating the scraps isn't a positive thing, but in Battle Royale, that's kind of what you want to do. Fun fact about Axis, interesting fact, in fact, is that they are not playing with Flame today. It's going to be Xzag, and you know, this guy has had a very good reputation in the local scene, one of the most veteran players that we have. So for the past few months, you know, when he had his stint with Todak, and now with Axis, it felt like he hasn't gotten that shine that he had from way back then. Hopefully today is gonna make a change for Axis, because they are one of the bottom feeders right now. They need a big push. Xzag is kind of one of those candidates that you can always rely on.
So Axis is going to be banking on his ability there to carry them through some of the tougher fights here. Things are looking really tough right now, because, you know, we still have 10 teams, 10 squads to go, and they're all starting to gather up in this next circle. Right now, Sem9 seems to have enemies in all 360 degrees of directions they can look at here. I mean, you got FARANG on the western side, you got DEWA on the eastern side. We got an airship literally going to be cutting across there, so this is going to be a last chance for some more revives to come through. But then we already see King of Gamers locked in battle right now with DEWA, but DEWA in the meantime are also a little bit preoccupied trying to send shots to Sem9, who they just spotted coming up from the riverbank here. So can King of Gamers actually capitalize on this, though? I'm not too sure at this point, because if they do come out the open, they're going to be exposed to fire from Expands and possibly even Heavy, who are now just only joining them inside the circle, and possibly might become a third party to this Sem9 versus DEWA fight.
It is a very dangerous spot for Sem9 to be in. Not only are they out in the open, but like you said, they are surrounded by so many teams. You know, DEWA United, Heavy, a bit far away, but you have FARANG as well. And now Sem9, they really want to cut into a safe compound, but unfortunately, the nearest compound is taken by Axis, and this is where Sem9 will have to kind of push for it. Xzag, the first one to go down. The child that Axis are banking their hopes on, no longer standing. Shahid getting a trail to newbie, but Raph, he also falls. Xzag been brought back up. Sem9, they need to beat Axis, and seems like they're doing a pretty good job at it. They have the numbers advantage. Raja shows up. Shahid and Raph are no longer in the fight. Axis just forcefully evicted from their homes, and they are not out, they are not safe yet. They forced into the hands of Team Flash by Sem9. A tragic ending to Axis' opening round. They still have one last survivor, but Expand, they might have their eyes on him. Is Xzag, the guy that Axis brought in to make a difference, but it seems like the only difference is not going to even be a reality if he gets caught up by Expand, who is hearing all those footsteps. Roy have just found him, I think. Yeah,
he's definitely trying to follow his tails here. He sees him, gets a shot. Glue wall comes out just in time to save his life, though. So he's going to be able to hold it a little bit longer. Now the glue wall breaks down, but he's already hiding inside the building. So Xzag should be able to stay out of the clutches of X-Roy at this point. And oh boy, now he's been knocked down completely, and X-Roy should be able to come in to finish him off for good. And Axis now down to only 666. Rav alone in the middle of this next safe zone, but like Sem9 moments ago, he's completely surrounded by enemies on all sides. And I gotta say, for Sem9's case though, they literally did what the best they could do in their situation, which was literally jump out and try to engage another squad here. And I think like getting the trade of Xzag there for newbie, I think is really good here for Sem9. Just from like being able to cut down one of the most dangerous members of Access Esports there. But now it's going to be down to Zenop and Raja though as they lose victory in that last fight and now are going to be holed up in the second floor.
Exec did the best he could, bought Raph back before he went down, but Raph also got caught out. There's not much pace for him to be in. Sam9 making one of the more coordinated pushes. That's kind of what we wanted to see. They had to take that risk. It paid off, but now they are being pressured by Team Flash, who took out one of their members early on. KOG on the other end felt like this was an inevitable fight between VGM that was just waiting to explode. And this festering battle is going to kick off right now. KOG with Oscar kind of in the front line. He knows that the VGM members are right opposite this wall. Bingsu breaks that glue wall. They're about to go in for the kind of pour. But KOG still holding on. JLX, good shot. Ban first to go. VGM suffering a first blood in the hands of KOG, and KOG so far are still stacked together. JLX pressuring VGM from the outside of the building. Vantan gets a good shot into Osaka, but KOG, they have time to bring him back up. Osaka now ready for battle once more. VGM try to flood into the machine, but that is not where you want to do. They get decimated by KOG.
Yeah, get decimated, and with Defirus just finding an opportunity here for DEWA, they are now going to be third-partying this fight here. Now going up against King of Gamers, just fresh off of that victory. Now DEWA looks to try to punish them for having taken out another squad here. It looks like Firuz is successful in that regard, taking out a couple of members right now, but then they lose Rain in the process. Now they're going to try to find some additional trades here. King of Gamers still has 2 members around here at least. Now they manage to catch JLX. Can they find even more here, right? Fighting out in the open here is Firuz as he locks himself in together with another member of KOG. He takes out that member of KOG there. Oscar Kevin taken down completely, and King of Gamers have been sent out to the lobby.
2 versus 4 working in the favor of DEWA United, but guess what? The food chain, this is the circle of life. Welcome to Purgatory. Heavy now shows up, and DEWA United were like, come on guys, we just took out KOG. They wanted a highlight reel, but it didn't last long. Heavy dispatched the rest of DEWA United. It's only 2 kills, but man, that could have been a sweet, sweet victory if they got to savor it.
This is literally like the best visual representation of dog eat dog, because they're just eating each other, literally just fresh off of being eaten. So wow, I mean, this is again, you know, a classic battle royale sort of like experience here, where you know teams just constantly one-upping each other now, and just because things are so crowded here, we see these close quarter fights that are quite rare to see actually in Free Fire, but this is how the circumstances are right now, and we're all here for it. It's Anxiety gets himself taken out from Jemball's good sniper shot right now. 5 teams still remain.
Yeah, 3 teams in this compound. Sam9, the one at a disadvantage is 2 members on Sam9 versus 4 from Flash and 4 from Expand. But it feels like Expand are the one under the most pressure, with both Team Flash shooting at them, and Sam9 just decides to casually lob utilities at Expand, who are out in the open. Expand needing to find a detour, and they do. Finds a compound. That's where Minao is at right now, but if Sam9 can flush him out, then they will kind of have a safe haven, just temporarily, as they get ready for the last phase. But the circle not in their favor though. It has kind of skewed towards the Vietnamese team. Flash are going to run into VGM, with Heavy having majority of the circle control.
I would love to see more circles like this here, especially on top of Brasilia, because we've seen so many like varieties of battles happening here on the open ground, inside the buildings, first floor to second floor. Right now, Sam9 is still hanging on for dear life, but unfortunately, the blue wall is closing in around them. FARANG is also in here as well, and they're also in the full stack. Flash as well are just getting into the next circle here, and they're already caught out. Sam9, Zenop has been taken out to the pastures now, and it's mostly the ones inside the safe zone here is both Flash, FARANG here, as well as Heavy. Expand now is going to be making the way down towards that side, but Jambo with the grenade takes down Bloody. Can he get another one? Shin takes a lot of damage, and he tries to bring Bloody back into the battle now, but Bio at the same time is also doing a number onto Flash at the moment, as right now they're just exchanging gunfire here. High ground versus building here versus low ground at the moment. Yanbin right around the outside of the house here. Spawns Expand trying to take over this house that currently is being held by FARANG, and is also trying to take pot shots at them, potentially trying to see if he can catch any additional stragglers coming out of this fight. But Expand gets himself taken down, with Fudai getting a shot with the shotgun, and now it looks like it's going to be down to 3.
Yeah, FARANG, not much kills, but they've held on to this compound for the longest time. Can they keep on going? Buffalo has just shown up, people. The first grenade onto Shin. Team Flash first one to take contact and receive the heat from Heavy as Farang continues to hold on to this last compound. They're playing time, they're letting the circle do most of the work, and Buffalo goes for the spray down against Yanbin. Tom XT also wants a couple of their limelight moments as Spade, he will steal that kill away. Farang still 4-man strong. Heavy, they are the one engaging in combat. 2-man jumps up on the second floor, but into the hands of Buffalo. Jembao gets Fudai out. Farang, they're playing this to the best of their abilities. This is the Farang they've been waiting to see, and so far things are working out perfectly. Farang getting those knocks. Shin responds. Heavy goes down. Farang have the numbers, and Farang have just done it. The opening round of Phase 2, Day 2 goes over to Farang.
Wow, these guys somehow thrive in the chaos sometimes, because what a crazy circle that was. Landing in the middle of Brasilia, in the middle of all those complexes, means there's a mix of open ground as well as buildings to fight for, and Farang did the right thing by literally holding on to the very building they control, and pretty much were lucky as well that the safe zone landed on the top of them. But what happened after that was no shade of luck there, because they really fought their hearts out there, taking down any challenger that came before them, and literally had themselves spread out. You know, some people were still inside the first floor. Some people, I think Jembal was still on the rooftop there throughout most of the fight and was able to provide lots of information on the ground. So really well done here for Farang, and super happy they were able to catch that booyah.
That is one of Farang's special, right? We see this mostly on Kalahari when they get a refinery for their drop zone and the circle goes over to that spot. But this final hold, just like you pointed out, it was just magnificent. The way that Farang was able to hold that compound. Best part was that they were not contested on the second floor at all. When we saw Team Flash run in, I thought that Team Flash would go for the flush, but apparently that wasn't the case. Team Flash also had a lot of problems to deal with, and 98 out of 99 problems were Expand, Sam9, and to a certain extent Buffalo from Heavy is giving them, just bringing them into a world of hurt, and Farang taking full advantage of that.
And I think a lot of these fights have underscored, the importance of having that bonfire. It's no longer just, a kind of a quick get-out-jail-free card. Sometimes if you get caught out in the open, now I think it's actually a really essential thing in these kind of close-quarter combats, because the range of the bonfire is big enough that it can cover entire rooms here. So if your whole team is holed up inside there, you're going to be able to force the enemy to spend a lot of ammunition just trying to take you down. That allows you to hold some floors even better now, as long as you got bonfires in your kit.
Yeah, one of the best start we've seen from Farang. It feels like a very rare moment, but nonetheless, Farang's going to be really happy with this opening. Team Flash and Heavy still keeping that performance from yesterday. DEWA United Esports also making it onto the front page. Sam9 and Expand sharing equal distribution of points, 10 apiece. KOG getting 6. Frustrated 5, Anxiety 5, MDH Axis, and V Gaming Esports, they only have 3 points by the end of the round.
Ooh, I'm really disappointed with V Gaming though, because they got themselves caught out way too early, and now with Team Flash getting 19 points, that's certainly going to chip away the lead that V Gaming had. What sort of lead that they have over V Gaming at this point. So right now it seems like they're on a bit of a slump now in these couple of days, and it was kind of a shame as well when you consider how well they actually performed in Phase 1. So I think now it's going to be up to V Gaming here to see what they can try to do to beat their compatriots in Team Flash. In the meantime though, as we look into the other side here, Sam9 and Expand right now are also kind of putting in decent performances here, at least making sure they're getting good kills and getting good placement points, and that's sure to allow them to continue to hold on the first and second spot.
Lovely round for Farang. Their first booyah in the second phase, and this will help them potentially make it closer to the first page. I believe that this round is not enough to get them there, but does put them within stone's throw of that front page finish. Nonetheless, it's a team that has been kind of the talk of the town, but not really the primary subject. Sometimes you touch on Farang a bit, but when you see Farang, it feels like you don't really know where to place them. Maybe, hopefully this round will kind of reaffirm that stance.
So the thing is that having observed them now for quite a while, I think that what their issue is more that they're very what they're good at specifically, they're extremely good at. But then, like, when you look at the other all-around kind of aspect of their package here, you know, of being able to fight on open ground, being able to get good loot and stuff like that, I think they're still kind of lacking in certain areas to the point where a lot of the other teams that have kind of like a more balanced sort of like performance across the board can easily kind of take them down if the situations, you know, don't really favor FARANG that much. But then now, you know, with this Brasilia circle where there's a lot of verticality, we start to see FARANG actually being inside their kind of like comfort zone, and that's why we saw them thrive a lot in those kind of battles. So maybe FARANG, what they need is just have all this the ingredients that they need to make things work out for them. But I think at the same time, they need to also figure out how exactly to adapt to when situations don't actually work out well for them.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. FARANG kind of felt like a glass cannon, but this is a start that will give them a morale boost. Great to see those boys smiling after that booyah. We will take a break, and when we come back, it's all the way to the snowy peaks of Alpine to see if FARANG can keep this momentum going.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
สวัสดีครับ ผม EA จาวินนะครับ เป็นตำแหน่งโค้ชครับของทีม Arena Pre-Fire ครับ สวัสดีครับ ผม EA ออกัสครับ เป็นตัวแทนจากทีมชาติไทยครับ Arena
นะครับ ผม EA โปรเตครับ ตำแหน่งชาร์เตอร์ครับเหมือนกันในไทย
คือว่าน้องๆเล่นได้ดีมากเลยนะครับคือสำหรับผมว่าน้องเล่นดีมากแล้วก็วงมันเข้าข้างเลยครับส่วนใหญ่ก็วงจบครับที่เราลงตลอดเราก็เลยได้ติดคำศัพท์แบบนั้นก็ดีใจที่ได้ออกผมก็เข้าข้างตลอดทำให้ได้สัญญาอยู่คิดไว้ครับว่าติดแน่นอนครับสำหรับผมนะผมว่าน้องเล่นดีมากผมว่านี้ก็ติดครับฟอร์มด้วยฟอร์มเราตอนนี้คือยังไงเราก็ติดล็อก12รอบแน่นอนมีเยอะมีคือการกินกุ้งก่อนแข่งครับผมแล้วก็สวดมนต์ก่อนแข่งด้วยก่อนจะลงแบบจะโดดเนี่ยเราก็มีการสวดมนต์ในทีมครับบนไหนนะบนไหนเต้
น้ำโมตัสสะ
แล้วบนสาสัมตะก้าผมก็ท่องตามนะท่องตามโอเคก็มีกินกุ้งกับสวดมนต์ครับเป็นในที่ของเราผมว่าผมยังมองว่าประเทศไทยก็คือยังเก่งกว่าต่างประเทศผมยังมองไม่ได้มองไทยดียังไม่ได้มองที่ต่างประเทศมากเท่าไหร่ผมว่าทีมไทยเก่งกว่าเราที่ผมเอเลยครับใช่ไหมผมโฟกัสไปที่เอมากที่สุดแล้วเพราะว่าเราลงนับจากเขาต้นเกม2 แผนที่เลยครับใช่ครับเพราะว่าเขาลงพื้นที่เดียวเราเลยแบบโซนบ้านอย่างเงี้ยรูปแบบการเล่นเขาหน้าโซนเขาเป็นคนเล่นวงนะครับซึ่งเราเป็นคนเล่นหลังเราเล่นไม่เหมือนกันนะแต่ต้นเกมเราวัดอะไรไม่ได้แล้วครับวัดปืนอ่ะถ้าลงไปเจอปืนก็คือมีสิทธิ์ชนะมากกว่าอยู่แล้วสำหรับสไตล์การเล่นไม่เหมือนกันแน่นอนไม่ครับผมมีอีวอนกับทีมแชมป์โลกมา2 ทีมนี้ก็เล่นยากเหมือนเดิมครับแชมป์โลกอีวอนกับแชมป์โลกก็คือถ้ามีด้วยก็จะทำให้เราเล่นยากครับเพราะว่าเราลงรักกับเขาตลอด
Gotta get it, I'm on the mission, snap any minute, casually winning. Stop tripping on me, stop dissing on me. Yeah, I got a dream, can't take it from me. My fire's burning, I'm always learning. Tell me where to go, man, I'm on a journey. Yeah, I can't explain it, I get excited. Keep it 300, King Leonidas. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
Another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
Gentlemen, to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Victor Cax. Join me here is Husky. We're now in round number 2 of day number 2 here. After having fought through Purgatory, it is FARANG that picks up the booyah this time around. But now that we jump into Alpine, are they going to be able to make lightning strike twice?
Yeah, hopefully that will be the case, but overall, except for the fact that FARANG won round number 1, everything else was pretty much the same, right? The Malaysian teams doing pretty solid, the Vietnamese squad doing the same as well. It's great to see DEWA United really stepping up. This was a team that kind of was missing from yesterday. King of Gamers Club had a slower round number 1, but we basically saw the circle of life. It was just team after team going for the third party and fourth party and fifth party, and at the end of it, it's still Sam9 at the top with a almost a 20-point advantage over Expand. Team Flash Heavy and V Gaming Esports still occupies 3rd to 5th, with KOG remaining in 6th place.
Yep, and with FARANG's booyah, that actually does give them quite a big haul of points, but still not enough to overtake a King of Gamers, though. That's still looking like about less than 20 points shy. So perhaps if FARANG is able to get another booyah again, if not on Alpine, maybe they might be able to do it on Kalahari, who knows. But if they do find another one there, I think that might be enough to get them on par with King of Gamers, or if they manage to get a round way better than King of Gamers overall, then that should actually work out well for them. But for now, it's still going to be the top of the second page there for FARANG. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to upgrade themselves as the day goes on.
Yeah, still 5 more rounds to do so, and when we go into Alpine, it is a map that I think a lot of teams over time have taken a liking to. Back then, teams that love Alpine now normally prefer Bermuda because it's one of the most standard maps, but now we see teams like Expand who really love to play Alpine. Forest Red is kind of their home turf, and it's one of those maps where Expand don't really want to change the drop spot. I think Team Flash also share the same sentiments, so this is going to be a very close battle on Alpine. But overall, now after that round, we are seeing Axis donning the very bottom of the leaderboard, which is kind of worrying. But then you look at Anxiety, they actually both share the same point, so hopefully they can turn that around. But of course, no tournament would be completed without the partners behind the scenes, so we gotta extend our gratitude to Samsung Galaxy, the newest addition to our SPS family, and we're happy to have them on this journey. This is Season 2, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be so much more to come. We have Jakarta to close out the challenge stage in 2023, so thank you very much to them for believing in us.
Yeah, then it's so great to be able to welcome Samsung Galaxy into the family here at the Snapdragon Pro Series. Again, you know, this is a series that very much provides a good platform for a lot of talented players to actually be able to rise up and provides them a competitive environment really to test their might against some of the very best of the region, and that would not have been possible without our sponsors here. So nevertheless though, as we move on to talking about this current match now, again, one of the things we really want to see is we're not far to be able to do another Booyah again, but at the same time I want to see if MDH will be able to get out of this slump, because yesterday we already were talking about, you know, the domination we're seeing from the Vietnamese squads, you know, from that first day. MDH has been the only one that's been the outlier, kind of like King of Gamers if you think about it. So are they both kind of suffering from the same thing, you feel?
Probably not. I think King of Gamers overall had a better day one. I mean, MDH is just suffering from this, it feels like a slump that they cannot recover, right? They had a decent round 1 yesterday. Round 2, they got wiped out after a hard drop. Round 3, they got the same treatment, and that kind of felt like it was it for MDH. They never got back up, and just now on round number 1, it was almost the same thing. They ran into Expand, which has been a thorn in their side. They forced Expand away from their initial drop spot, but got wiped by First Raiders instead. So this is something that I think it's going to be a bit mentally taxing, but hopefully MDH can recover.
Yeah, so again, not impossible for them to get into the next page. Again, they're only about 30 points away, I think, from King of Gamers Club. I think about 32.5 points. So it's still not an insurmountable kind of gap there, especially given that we still have multiple days to go in this phase 2 of the challenge group stage. Nevertheless, though, let's move on to the phase of the map itself. We're going to be going to the snowy and singing hills of Alpine, and we're going to find out who's going to be the one getting the Booyah this time around.
A very even, a very balanced flight path. So a lot of teams going for those early drop, Team Flash, instantly gunning for Snowfall, just no contention at all. Really loving this distribution. You can see the Sem9 going straight for the middle. So far the teams are very content with where they head towards Expand, as expected, going to Forest Red. That's where the high tier loot zone is as well. Coincidentally, Too Fast will make contact with one of the Sem9 players, so we're gonna see that 1 versus 1 fight to kind of send a message early on to see how this is gonna work out.
Well, that's pretty funny because like both of those in the 1v1 split off from the main squad really to try to explore the other side. So it's kind of funny that they both bump each other, kind of like, you know, scouts from, just borrowing some parlance from StarCraft, like 2 scouts from opposite ends encountering each other. It's a little bit like that fight right now, but they managed to find a bit of weaponry to use though. So it's looking like a very much a big standoff between Zen OP and Too Fast right now. Zen OP does have a sniper rifle with a scope, but I'm not sure what exactly does Too Fast have in his kit outside of that suppressed submachine gun. So I think Fast is just waiting to see if Zen OP is going to come closer, but then Zen OP in the meantime is just waiting to see for Too Fast to pop his head out so he can take him out from a distance. So it's kind of like imbalance in terms of what each other is looking for. In the meantime though, First Raiders finding a kill there onto one of the members of MDH. Nero gets sent back to the lobby there. It's still early game. He could potentially be brought back. Zen OP now forced to try to fight this on the outside, now even forced to bring out the glue walls. Too Fast is getting closer and closer. Zen OP tries to break some distance here, trying to get as far away as he can, but unfortunately there's nowhere else to run outside of this little shack here, so he may have to just fight him hand to hand sooner rather than later, using the bonfire to try to draw some fire here, hoping the Too Fast will waste his ammunition, but Too Fast wastes no time at all. Goes up in front there with a shotgun, forcing them to go hand to hand now versus each other. Too Fast is the one faster on the trigger finger, and he takes Zen OP out to the pastures.
That is definitely a weapon gang. Too Fast just had the right weapon for the occasion. The shotgun doing majority of the work. FARANG on the other end have ran into KOG, and KOG, they are not shy to go for this push, though there is a split battle. Too bad the first one to go down. Osaka watching from long range, providing the support that he needs, and this might just be the green light for KOG to continue that assault and eliminate the rest of FARANG, who we wanted to see had a good game too, but if things go the way that they are, then maybe KOG would just get the last lap. Jetball, what a swing! A support from Spade as well to make it an even battlefield. KOG losing Kevin in the process, but KOG, they do have one of the FARANG members surrounded. It's a pincer maneuver, 2-on-1. JLX, the one behind on the flank. He did spot one of the FARANG members retreating. KOG continue to have that numbers advantage to pressure Spade, try to force him out of this compound, but Spade is staying alive. In fact, even trying to directly challenge JLX, but that is not the right idea. JLX gets the last lap, taking out Spade. Oscar goes down, but KLX comes in for the crunch, and KOG might have just won this one.
Yeah, they just might have been able to push back the tide as they forced FARANG's last member, Jembal, to turn away and try to run out of this fight. But no, Jembal is actually still sticking around here, trying to sneak past them. But then I don't know if that's going to work too well, because JLX definitely will hear the footstep. He's going to come around the corner there. Double shots will be able to finish him off. Jembal, as well as the rest of FARANG, gets bowed out in 12th place.
From Booyah to too soon, this is not really what you want to see, but FARANG, a little bit, wouldn't say that they're too hasty, but props to KOG, being able to kind of play that fight out the meticulous way that they've kind of been showing us since the start of Phase 2. DEWA United on the other end, and Rivermouth just chilling. There's not much reason for them to push too far into enemy territory. In fact, that's a bridge in between. They have to cross that if they want to get to the other side. And that's where Axis has set up shop on the revival point. Uh-oh, Kevin. Not really what you want to go for. Wants to go for the loot crate, but runs into Sam9. Alright, wins first contact. Didn't get the kill though. Sam9 showing up just in time.
Yeah, this is literally unusual though, because like he split off from the rest of his squad in order to try to get the loot box, and didn't really bring anyone along to try and back him up. I should have expected to run into another squad, you know, especially when it comes to these loot boxes, but I digress though. Perhaps maybe he was deciding to take a risk there, just you know, see if he can get some benefits. If not, you know, just wait for his teammates to revive him back. Then again, KOG has already gotten 4 elimination points, so maybe they were just thinking, yeah, we can probably just donate 1 or 2 to some random squad here. It doesn't really matter for them, maybe.
Yeah, they got info of Sam9's whereabouts.
True.
So I guess at the end of the day, it's still a reward, right? Just minus the equipment.
Yeah, Silver Linings playbook for sure.
Okay, KOG not really suffering too much of a loss. It's fine. You can give him away. JLX having a pretty good game. 2 kills so far. DEWA United finally crossing that bridge. Now puts themselves within touching distance of Axis Esports. This is going to be a standoff between these two teams. As off screen, JLX goes down to Kanoho. Anxiety kind of putting one on the board, but so far on our screens is DEWA United receiving some pot shots from Axis. UAV also kind of sent out to gather info.
Yeah, that's going to spot out some positioning, but I think like the worst case scenario for them right now is if that circle the next safe zone lands on top of them completely, because that means they're going to be completely stuck in this sort of like siege right now if neither side kind of committing to an actual push. Speaking of pushes though, VGM seems to be encroaching into Expanse's position, and 2-5 is just holding steady with that trigger finger, just keeping his teammates fed on where exactly Band and Bingsu are moving towards, and just waiting for the right moment to strike. At the moment, he hasn't been spotted yet, but Bond is actually closing the distance between himself and the rest of Expanse there, so maybe they might actually end up encountering each other sooner rather than later. But VGM is just taking this very methodically right now, just trying to use this little crest as a bit of cover as they try to make an approach towards Force Red. That's where exactly the safe zone lands on top, and in the meantime, that safe zone as well kind of splits DEWA and Axis right now, with Axis having the advantage being the gatekeepers now to DEWA towards that next safe zone.
MDH getting pushed by First Raiders. It seems like Nightmares Incarnate showing up again, but this time it's First Raiders who went down. MDH survived this round. Very much needed wipeout as well. 5 points under their belt. Still going with full squad strong. DEWA United able to somehow just slip past Axis. You know, now they have Heavy on the southern side, but the most important thing is that DEWA is untouched. Expand going for the assault onto VGM. They do get the drop onto the Vietnamese squad, and unfortunately VGM are just not in the position to fight Expand.
Yeah, it looks like this one worked out well for Expand, given the patience they held and just taking control of Forest Red. Like I said, this is literally their house right now as they are fully in control of this zone, forcing VGM now to turn tail and head towards the safe zone instead. Sorry, to the other side of the safe zone instead. Meantime, DEWA very caught up with Heavy at the moment. The gate kept has now become gatekeepers themselves as their position is going to prevent Heavy from being able to walk into the safe zone just willy-nilly. But things are cooling down right now. Expand seems to be going out of their way though to try to meet against VGM, so it looks like they're not quite done with that squad particularly.
And it all started with just too fast trigger discipline. The information. I think part of him was definitely worried that if he took that shot, even with a knockdown, they are going to rush him. So just props to Expand being able to keep their composure and use that information to kind of get more lead for themselves. Expand, they do hear this, but considering how far out VGM have traveled, don't think Expand will continue the chase, as they know that they've secured a big perimeter for themselves. VGM, on the other hand, will have to use this revival point to get Vantan back.
Yeah, looks like they've been pushed so far away there by Expand, who thought they might have had an opportunity there, especially with the McLaren 720S, to actually chase them down and hopefully eliminate them before getting pushing focus to this next safe zone. But now with things already out of the way, looks like Expand can now focus on retaking Forest Red and make that the home base as they wait for the next safe zone to come up. In the meantime, on the northern side of the circle, things are getting a little bit crowded right now. We got Sem9 in between both MDH as well as Team Flash. But what Sem9 has going for them is that they're taking control of the complex and militia right now, and that's going to give them plenty of windows and space really to set up good ambush points. And with a single buy point in the middle here, this might be a very good place there for MDH to actually pick up a lot of good loot. We're already seeing and hearing some shots being going off. I think that's actually Axis versus KOG as they have just bumped into each other with Axis taking control over the lighthouse. But with the blue zone closing in onto them, where is this next zone going to land though? It's going to so far away. So now Axis has a decision to make. Do we want to continue to try to commit to this fight against KOG, or do we want to pull back and try to find another way to this next safe zone? But if they were to do that, they're actually surrounded by all sides here. You also still have Anxiety just outside in the blue zone continuing to farm. You got Heavy on the western side. They're going to be gatekeeping them if Axis decide to cross river, which they're actually doing right now. And you also have to contend with Expand, who is still very much using Forest Red as the base right now, and it should be able to gatekeep anyone approaching from the south side.
Expand might have to be ready for a heavy traffic. DEWA on one side, Heavy on the other.
There we go.
Feels like it's easier for them to take care of DEWA right now. Not going to rain to start things off. Heavy, they are hearing all of this go off. KOG also kind of chipping in as well. It's actually Kevin that gets the first kill onto Ren. DEWA, they've survived for so long, but then might be cut short. Expand getting 2 knocks in the process, making sure that KOG will not steal that away. As DEWA, they're down onto the last leg, so thankfully there's still one survivor. KOG might not let that stay for long though. Look at Kevin, he is about to catapult himself alongside JRX, who have the grenade launcher in hand. Virus, the last man alive, the vending machine right on the open. It's so close yet so far for Virus, but this is probably his last stand. Expand behind him and KOG in front. Maybe Expand can help him keep KOG at bay, but Expand, they also have Heavy on their plate. Buffalo is the one that gets gunned down first. Expand keeping Heavy as far away as possible, and they're doing a good job at it.
Yeah, now Heavy has already found a way to kind of flank Expand in the moment, so Expand just finding themselves, even though holding Forest Red seemed to be their strategy, but it also allowed other teams to kind of slip by their flanks, so now the Expand is going to be under pressure here. They were united though! Get themselves completely taken out with Feroz being the last person standing, getting gunned down by KOG. Now we're seeing a mad scramble on the northern side as Flash, MDH, as well as Sem9 are stuck in the middle of a battle. Even the Pans will come out here, but not to no avail though as Shin takes it out with the shotgun. Now scrambling around to find other targets here. He finds another member, MDH of Nero, takes him down as well, moves around, doesn't quite hold his own though, as unfortunately he gets taken down along with Bloody.
Sem9.
And Sem9 now getting into the mix here. So it's Sem9 versus MDH. MDH still has 3 members. Imagine bring Nero back from the dead, but is that going to be enough to keep the man advantage though? Because Sem9 is still having a full stack. They still have 4 members here. They still have plenty of glue walls. Haven't not burnt any of it right now, with Flash actually burning most of their kit, actually taking this fight against MDH. Xenobeat navigating around the glue walls, finds an opening here, goes against Nero. Nero's forced with Tucktail with the blue wall right behind him, and he gets taken down. Now Sem9 is going to be coming to clean house of the rest of MDH.
And Nuke is taking so much damage from the blue zone, but he didn't really have much of a choice. All those glue walls built to be like a fortress. Sem9, well, they didn't know about this though. Nuke is going to try and heal himself up, but it seems like Sem9 have an inkling. Xenop, he is just waiting for the rest of his team to show up to finish off the remnants of MDH. This is probably one of the better runs for MDH, but actually decides to just back off and let the blue zone do the work. There's no rush for Sem9. They can just keep Nuke at bay. He's eventually going to run dry, expand, able to dispatch of Heavy as Heavy tries to push into the safe zone as well. So far, so good for the Malaysian squads.
Yeah, Anxiety now jumping in and actually using some vehicles in order to try to circle around. In the meantime, what a shot there by Ban, and 6-6 grab onto Ban himself. Nuke picks out a vehicle, it gets blown up as soon as he enters the circle. Fikri now trying to get some shots in, but unfortunately he's going to get interrupted with KOG attempting to steal the kill from him though. It's bring some fire onto that member of Anxiety there. Expands the other 2 members now moving, and they actually caught up into Bingsu here. Sem9 moves in from the northern side, and they're going to be gate-kept a little bit by Anxiety, who have already taken position in this next safe zone right now and trying to keep Expand off of it. Expand still has a sniper rifle, will try to get onto the ground there in order to try to find some good targets to hit. Raja in the meantime uses his rock for cover here, tries to flush out this next member of Anxiety. They sees one of it on one side, didn't spot the other though. I think he's gonna have to keep an eye out and might actually be in danger of being knocked down if he's not too careful with his situational awareness. Xenop is also lurking around this little rock here, just keeping an eye out for enemies at a distance. And it looks like while his teammate controls the front of the boulder here, Shomai still sticking around, still sees Sem9 taking up the approach. I think he's been spotted by Fikri now as he informs the rest of his team, and they go up, guns blazing. Time Turner comes out here for Shomai as he attempts to run away. Time Turner gets broken down, and Raja one shot, 1 kill there with a shotgun. After a long but protracted battle, he does take that member of Anxiety out.
Cobra in danger. Just getting shot at by Fikri, but they still have a couple of glue walls to work with. Sem9 needing to hold back both KOG and Expand at the same time. Expand and only have 2 members left, so kind of at a disadvantage. KOG not looking too healthy, so Sem9 has the best chance of winning this one. Fikri, he has eyes on the Expand members, and it seems like the Expand members, they don't have much glue walls left. Cobra the first to go down, and Fikri right on the bullseye with his shots. Oscar, last man alive, flushed out by Sem9, and a finisher for Malaysia. Sem9 bagging the second booyah for themselves.
That was a sniper rifle battle if I've ever seen one. I mean, Fikri was just absolutely killing it with that AWP, and then later on you had Raja as well getting in there with the AC-80. So wow, lots of celebration in the Sem9 gaming house too, and even a prayer as well to kind of close things off too. I mean, man, those guys were really pushing hard in this last round here, but sorry, in this second round, and seems like it has actually paid off now.
Yeah, it definitely has. They will be able to keep that first place standing placement. I mean, Sem9, great performance until the very end. Anxiety also made it pretty far, but no, despite I think a low kill count round for them, this is one of those rounds that you wouldn't need. Just get a couple of placement points on the board. Expand also making it to top 3 again. KOG showing up big time on Alpine. This is definitely one of the slower rounds that we have had so far. But that end game is as brutal as day number 1. The circle is just deciding to troll everyone.
And this just goes to show the value of patience in maps like Alpine, where I think the natural pace of the fights are going to be a little bit slower, just from how spread out everything is. And I think we see plenty of examples from Expand, you know, just really maintaining trigger discipline, even though they were kind of like getting approached very hard by VGM at one point, and then later on with Sem9 just holding and just waiting for a good moment to strike. And once they saw that the final circle was down to those 3 squads, they literally brought out the big guns. They brought out the sniper rifles, and Fikri just started popping off, literally popping his heads as soon as he sees them. And literally, well, just by applying that kind of like pressure at the right moment was allowing them to dominate some of these fights.
You love to see these kind of calculated approach. I would say Axis also were able to put themselves on the silver screen just for a bit, but it was Semnai who had better control of the circle, and most of these teams that entered the final phase were already battered and bruised, so it was kind of like Semnai's round to lose. Nonetheless, it is, I believe, their second Booyah of phase number 2. They came into phase 2 in first place, and it seems like that is here to stay for a bit longer. 21 points to be put on the board.
Yeah, and that's crucially 3 points ahead of Expand, so even the lead against their closest rival team is also going to continue to expand as well. King of Gamers Club also no slouch either in this regard. They got into plenty of fights here with 7 kills in total, and that's enough to put them in third place with 16 points altogether. And then MDH as well. This is finally a brilliant round for them because they are the best performing Vietnamese squad on Alpine's round here, getting 13 points to V Gaming Esports is 9. So they're actually doing some good work. It's not quite the magnitude, I think, that's enough to get them out of the second page reliably, but still, I think credits where it's due. It's still a lot of points there for MDH.
It's also around that MDH direly needs, right? Especially when they have so much poor rounds for the past few ones, including the ones from yesterday. This is a minor confidence boost for MDH. Hopefully they get to keep it up. We are hitting the reset button. We're going back to Bermuda next. Expand will be the team that we actually look at by the end of this round. Sure, they didn't get the Booyah, but it doesn't really matter. Expand at the end was still able to hold their ground, and they again entered the last circle with a disadvantage. 2 members with very minimal glue walls to work with, and part of me feels like if they had a few extra of those, maybe they would have given a better fight. But nonetheless, Expand very, very consistent, something that we've been begging to see from phase number 1.
Exactly, and with Expand, just kind of playing the margins here, knowing that, their main competition is not necessarily the person in first place, but really the people just behind them in Team Flash and Team Heavy, because they're still about 20 to 25 points ahead of those 2 Vietnamese squads. They definitely want to try to put enough points to keep themselves ahead of those 2 squads, and so far I think as long as they can keep this momentum up, they should stand a good chance of maintaining that second spot for the second phase. So now that we're already through with Alpine, we're going to be going to our next map, Bermuda, afterwards. But then before that, we'd like to say thank you to the sponsors that made the Snapdragon Pro Series possible, starting with Snapdragon Elite Gaming for when winning matters. And Snapdragon has gone from powering our phones with their chipsets to now powering the esports tournaments that run on those very chipsets itself. And go ahead and check them out. Check out all the phones there, particularly the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4, which is not only Snapdragon powered, but also Samsung Galaxy is joining us in this journey in the Snapdragon Pro Series, and we would like to thank them for being a part of the family here at SBS. Not to forget as well is our second sponsor, which is Monster Energy. Unleash the beast together with them by picking up a can of that Monster Energy and checking out the website at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And last but not least, when you're running low on in-game credits, why don't you use your next top up with kachishop.com, because they offer you great discounts and great deals to go along with that top up. So make sure you don't miss out on those. Check them out at their website. So now that we're already done, and with round number 2, round number 3 is coming soon with that reset they've been promising here on Bermuda. But before we can get to that, all of us here, including the teams, will have to take a short break. So we'll be right back after these messages.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me. How'd I turn pain into energy? Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Seems like things are going so good so far for the teams from Malaysia. 2 Booyahs One for Farang, one for Sem9. Will this trend continue? Because we have just hit the reset button on the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge Group Stage Phase 2. Heading into round 3 next. We're going on to Bermuda and the most classic map of the Free Fire pool. I'm Husky alongside Victor. It's going to be a very interesting day. And we got to take a look at the overall standings just to give you guys a refresh. If you guys have missed out the first 2 rounds, this is how it stands. Sem9 still in the top, still in first place.
Yep, hence Expand very much close behind there, but only by 22 points. Then we got Team Flash now also within 20 points of Expand. So you can pretty much see that when it comes to the top, rather the first page here, they're kind of like expanding their leads to each other now. So, but on the meantime, on the other side of the page there, FARANG still very much stuck in 7th spot right now because King of Gamers is still racking up points in these last couple of rounds. So despite FARANG picking up the first booyah of phase number 2, it's still not quite enough to overtake the King of Gamers right now for 6th place and potentially a slot into Jakarta. MDH, after a brilliant round number 2 here today, has been able to get themselves up onto 8th place from 9th place right now, overtaking DEWA United Esports, but only by just 10 points. So certainly DEWA, who's also seeing themselves coming into a bit of a resurgence in day number 2, could potentially fight back, but we'll see how that turns out here, because now we're going back to the classic map of Bermuda, literally the first map ever released for Free Fire. So a map that a lot of these teams will be very familiar with, and also a map that I think is going to be quite balanced across the board because it features has a lot of features that are equivalent, or rather similar to other maps there, just all kind of combined into one spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, FARANG technically only played 1 round instead of 2 because they had a very rough start to Alpine, but we'll put that past us because we have more to come. Bermuda coming up next. We gotta keep an eye out on FARANG, V Gaming Esports, and MDH. And these 3 teams so far not looking too hot. At least they're not in the first page, but they all have the potential to make it there. In fact, the gap between, I believe, 6th and 7th place is around 30 points. So it's gonna take 2 rounds for whoever who is in 7th place right now to make it, and that team in 7th place is FARANG.
Yep, and when we head on to the next few rounds there, we want to see these teams that we just featured here to actually continue to make that climb. And particularly, V Gaming Esports had started off the phase number 2 with a significant lead actually across from FARANG and MDH, and now finding themselves on the verge of being knocked into the 2nd page after day number 2. Something must be going wrong there, but nevertheless, what never goes wrong though are our sponsors for the Snapdragon Pro Series. We want to give a shout out right now to Monster Energy. Unleash the beast together with them. And one of the things I love about coming to cast with the SPS is that there's always a free flow of Monster Energy out here in the office, in the studio, really. And I'm just really enjoying the drink a lot more now these days. So go ahead, check them out over on their website at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming, and go ahead and unleash the beast together with them.
I want the fruit punch. I actually have not tried fruit punch before. I've been hearing a lot about it. I think from our friend Danley and some of the guys from production. Really want to try that out, but so far I'm happy with just having normal Monster drink. It's great.
Yeah,
I feel it in my vein. I am so a normal human being is 80% water. I'm 80% Monster.
Literally a beast within, isn't it?
Yes. Born a beast, built different, forged in just pure energy.
Forged in the flames.
Forged in the flames.
Indeed.
Pretty sure that's how the teams are as well. I mean, the Thai squads are forged in flames. So again, they're not here. We are going to Bermuda next. I think this would be very, very fun. Other than the fact that it's a classic map, it's also a map that most of these teams are very comfortable with. I want to specifically look at Expand again. I know, we've been focusing on them a bit more in this phase 2, but this is a map that they have very stubborn behavior, and it's a good one. They love Clock Tower, and if you show up to Clock Tower, they will fight you to the death. They will not let go of the area, and that's where they're going. Clock tower it is.
Again, you know, this is kind of the approach that some teams have to make. You have to be super strong with one spot. Again, you have to kind of like your comfort drop in a way. So I think like Expand is just really doubling down that strategy there. In the meantime, VGM bumping into Sem9 there. Already taken down Newbie, looking for any other members of Sem9 to take down. They're going to find Fikri on the outside. He pops some smoke and it just is able to slip away in time. But is he going to be able to run away into the open field? No, he does not. He ducks under. And then actually opens up the door for Zen OP to get the knockdown onto Van-Time. Boite though gets a trade and takes Zen OP out completely. Now he's going to be under fire here as Raja inside the building is going to try to shoot through the doorway, forcing the rest of VGM to try to reposition. But with Sem9 now quickly peeling out his battle here, looks like they want to try to live so they can fight another day.
Yeah, Raja is going to try and buy as much time as possible. Good time turning as well. This is a 1v1. He needs to isolate these five so far. Juggling in and out, but ends up getting clipped by Boite towards the tail end of it. Did the best he could. Raja gives away his life, but he did ensure the survival of Sem9. VGM starting off hot.
Yeah, very, very hot indeed. And you know, maybe this is just going to try to make up for a slight disappointment experience in the first day, but look who's chasing after Fikri. Not only his own anxiety from being hunted down, anxiety itself is literally hunting down Fikri at this point, and they might just cut him off in time, but no! Good shot there by Fikri. Should be able to get the kill right there with a couple of knife throws, and in fact, get some extra loot as well. And with no other members' anxiety around there, looks like he should be able to get away with that scot-free.
Yeah, he needs to go for the long run. Would have been nice if that one member of VGM, if Van-Time didn't split up from the team. Look at VGM, they are so spread out. Looking for Sem9. 2 revival points under VGM's control. This Fikri having one of the roughest starts to any round of Free Fire. But the thing is, there's no revival point that he can take control of. There's no vending machine for him. He is stranded out in the open. Let's see if Sem9 can recover from this. They've done it before, but this one is on another level of difficulty.
I know, right? I mean, just from the fact that he has nowhere else to kind of go to revive his team immediately, just is going to add more pressure because there'll be less time for his teammates to come back in to actually get some farm. And now he's going to run straight into his anxiety. Oh, actually, going to run straight into anxiety, I should say. But I can definitely feel Fikri being a bit anxious though, because not only is it out in a very open spot here, out in the ports of Rim Nasir, but at this point now, anxiety is very much in control over this next revive point, which Fikri desperately needs right now, and pretty much will gatekeep him from that specific position.
Yeah, tough one. Axis also engaging in a fight early on. We also see First Raiders on our screen taking on VGM. So a lot of actions happening, at least on that southwestern side of the map. Fikri just going for a dip in the ocean. Is staying as far away as possible from mankind, and probably gonna play that late game. Wait for the circle to come in and, you know, make those late rotations. I think it's the safer move, probably one of the safest maneuvers as long as he doesn't get spotted out. Rafto, can't say the same for him. Bayo just hunts him down, gets an easy kill. Axis, I'm not really sure if you want to drop in though. It's a bit of an uncoordinated push. We see that one Axis member just fly in. Shahir, what are you doing in the house of Team Flash? Your team is not with you. He is sold out by the rest of Axis. Shin gets a freebie. That's a 2-for-1 sale.
I wonder whether or not he jumped before he realized that Raph just got taken down or what. I mean, it's again very uncoordinated and like very much thinking of lack of commitment actually for any kind of fight that will come with a hot drop like that. So that's already 2 down. Fikri though getting caught out by anxiety just as he tried to go for the revive point. So that's GG WP for Sem9 for this round. Now is the first team to get bowed out.
Good news for the rest of the team now. They can have more room to kind of catch up and close the gap between them and Sem9. Maybe for Axis, that was one of the moments of, you know, it was at this moment that Shahid knew that he messed up as he was just decided to fly in. Nonetheless, Axis able to bring the rest of the team back as Team Flash continues to control this area. Oh wow, I say that, but it seems like Team Flash are not done. They want to get rid of Axis, you know, down to the root. Gotta cut off the head of the snake. Neptune out in the open. Riptide Rhythm brings like Luo down, forcing a second one to be erected. Team Flash basically just keeping Axis literally at bay. I don't think Axis can fight through this. They don't have the numbers. They have a bike, Neptune. trying to just use the element of speed to outrun Bloody, and he's not Buffalo, so he's not letting those shots, but they are still trying to catch on to Neptune. Team Flash repositioning themselves. There's a high tier loot zone at Bullseye. Maybe they can let this go and go for the high tier loot zone, but in fact Neptune decides to fight just to buy a bit of time for his teammate, and he will have to sacrifice his life.
Yeah, and a bit of lag as well on Shin's side, making it kind of hard for him to find a good shot. But nevertheless, there was a good shot anyway on the motorbike on Neptune, so that actually boxed them down in that fight. And now only Exact is the last person left standing at this point. So he's probably going to try to play the same game that Freakery does, hopefully a little bit better though. While Flash, having won that fight now, has sent Bayo out to try to explore a bit. Now they're going to run straight into VGM, who just brought back both Vantan as well as Bingsu. And right now, they have a full squad here just going to forward this high tier loot zone, and Bayo might just become a bait right now for VGM to just deliver a lot more information as Bayo now gets completely surrounded, gets taken out now. Flash knows that this bullseye area is taken control of by VGM at this point, so it's going to be up to them to decide, do they want to try to fight this full stack with only 3 members on hand.
Seems like Flash has no intention of doing so, fortunately, but for Farang, they have just wandered into the stronghold of Expand, and they did lose Jembao to start this off. So at a disadvantage already, Expand holding on this to this compound. An ironclad defense, too fast, spotting out 2 of the Farang members. He is low, but thankfully he has a couple of glue walls and a bonfire to keep himself warm and safe. Expand still is he fortifying their defenses. Cobra now will be able to challenge Spade. They're going to double up on him. This is a 2 versus 1 Spade. The one at a disadvantage, he does have the Seekers to slow down Expand members, but not for long. Roy will shoot him down. Spade is already out, and even found the 3rd member of Farang trapped behind 2 glue walls. They will even surround him. You are trapped in here with us, says Expand, and Farang are out.
Wow, I mean, again, highs of highs and the lowest of lows here for Farang. 2 rounds in a row now. They've been kicked out of the map quite early on. And right now, there's no chance for them to try to fight back in Bermuda here. So not quite a reset they were looking for, I think. But certainly for Expand, it's going to be good news from them from this point on, because their sector is completely clear now, and they're going to have a full line of sight towards this next safe zone. In the meantime, Anxiety bumps into VGM this time around. VGM having fresh off of that high tier loot zone, and now looking for some teams to use those high tier loot onto, and Anxiety just so happens to be around the corner here. I wonder how did that happen?
Yeah, Kanoho having the high ground advantage. He's going to be instrumental to keep Anxiety safe, pressuring the members of VGM, making sure that they can't push into the rest of his team. Toby is going to be the one at the front lines. So far, VGM have not found a solution to kind of flush Kanoho out of his vantage point, so this is good news for Anxiety, able to reposition themselves and also having extra info of where VGM are. The question is, can Anxiety stop VGM? I don't think VGM is gonna, stop C's operation anytime soon, so Anxiety will have to win this fight to even have a chance to continue their run.
Yeah, and I think Anxiety is also just trying to avoid VGM wherever they can, but don't really have the clearance to actually run away from this fight right now. So a bit of a half-hearted commitment, it feels like. But then again, Anxiety's positioning is kind of okay, because they do have a bit of high ground to work with, and they just completely try to lock out the window right now with the glue walls. But they can only use so many glue walls before VGM decides to just break right through and just pierce them. But look at that, they flanked them from behind now, and Anxiety are finding themselves in a little bit of a pickle here, because now they have 2 fronts to try to take care of, and this is making it hard for them to manage this fight here. VGM just trying to dissect Anxiety sort of positioning here, just constantly rapidly moving around this compound here. They see the glue wall buster here. Kanoho is going to try to hold his own, but unfortunately only the glue wall comes out in time though. But if the glue wall buster all the way on the ground, the glue walls break down as soon as they come up, and Kanoho gets taken to the pastures right now, with the rest of his squad now hold up on the opposite end of the complex. VGM now giving chase here. We want to see whether or not they will be able to catch out Somai as he tries to run past the window there. Gets caught out by Bingsu. He's down for the count. Got to be, was going to be able to peel away, or is he though? He gets caught out just as he gets to the edge of the blue zone and will be cut down in his prime by VGM.
Good recovery round for VGM. They desperately needed this one. 10 kills so far. When Toby bleeds out, they will get their 10th. Anxiety able to revive some of the members, so at least there is a lifeline being sent all the way, ironically, to Graveyard. There's a 5 point. The circle, you know, does favor VGM, at least for now. MDH and KOG also showing up to the party, but you can see on the radar right now, KOG is being heavily pressured by Heavy. Expand slowly inching closer. They are making a pissed up at Hangar, but with all these gunfights going around them and those very loud gunshots, it seems like Expand also impatient to chip in, and their target will be Heavy.
Oh my god, Konoho is such an awkward position there. He is up on the billboard. Now he's got King of Gamers on the ground there, and he's got Heavy also moving in on his position. So, and all he could do really is just hunker down and just wait it out, wait for everyone to just bypass him here. But here's the other problem. His landing zone is also smack dab inside that safe zone right now. So even if he does come out, it would be likely into the crutches of another team. So it's just nowhere to cut it. He's very much cut off right now. His best hope is just to stay out of trouble. Perhaps be a bit of an insurance right now for anxiety as his teammate is still in graveyard. Perhaps we'll be able to find some loot, and perhaps we'll find an opening to get into this next safe zone. In the meantime, grenade launchers coming out right now from Nuke, trying to hold back Expand, and actually takes down quite a number onto them. Actually, Don't Cry with the sniper shots as well, doing Lord's work onto Expand. They've been eliminated completely out on the field here. Not even a chance given it to them by MDH.
That was Expand on the highway to hell. Literally, drive straight to MDH. Exile not able to provide cover fire. And they were pressuring Heavy, right? They should know that Heavy is going to be watching out for them. So pretty weird that Expand didn't fully push in with their vehicles. With that being said, now Heavy and MDH will be the ones in this skirmish. But Heavy, they have to be a bit careful. KOG is watching all of this happen. You can see First Raider on the edge of that radar as well. DEWA United showing up on the kill feed, wiping the members of the Axis as the battles are happening across the map. We are in phase number 4. Phase number 5 coming soon in 20 seconds. So this is going to be crunch time. 9 more teams left standing. And expect a very, very dense final circle.
Yeah, this gets still very dense though. 9 teams still remain, and we're already approaching the 4th and 5th circle now. And most of the teams are very much holed up on the borders here because the next safe zone actually takes place on top all over this bridge structure here. We already got King of Gamers right in the smack dab in the middle of it, trying to fight against First Raiders and Souza, who's just been caught out. We also have Kevin up on the water tower, just trying to keep an eye out for Heavy, just coming over the horizon right now. Triple kills already come out here as Heavy moves in to try to be a pincer between DEWA as well as King of Gamers. And there's finding plenty of targets there in the form of DEWA as Ozlozzy gets eliminated on the sidelines there, trying to flank around the back of DEWA, and just unfortunately gets punished for it here by Heavy. Now Tom XD is going to try to get some good shots here. Unfortunately, the trees are making it a bit hard for him to spot targets through there. No problem there for Mill now though. Had a clear line of sight to DNP and takes him out very, very quickly.
And DNP is oblivious to what is happening behind him. DEWA United underneath the bridge though is a very, very popular bridge. In fact, with Heavy kind of being the checkpoints on top of it, and this is just a field day for me now. Another kill for him. Finally shut down by Icky. A good refrag, but unfortunately they couldn't find any finishers. Souza is at kind of the entrance of one side of the bridge, and me now brought up, knocked down again. Buffalo going to work. Nerok is knocked. VGM out. Bill, what a nade off screen, getting the job done for Team Flash as Heavy continues to hold on to this bridge. They have 2 teams to watch out for. Souza out in the open and realizes it's a big mistake. But now with his position review, the rest of Heavy are going to run for him and take him out. 5 kills, about to be 6, and Buffalo gets it. Number 6 for Heavy.
Oh boy, someone's gonna have to deal with Buffalo at some point though, because he's literally killing everyone from the top of the bridge right now. Nuke is the next one to fall. Nero may not be long for this world. Buffalo can just find a shot. He has to put out some glue walls though, because Flash coming over the hills now actually has a slightly better high ground compared to the bridge. So now it's gonna be up to the other 2 members of Heavy to try to beat them in open field here to battle. Fudai is already in the front lines here, trying to fight against Bloody, but unfortunately gets knocked out by Tom XD around the side here. Tom XD is gonna try to hold his own, but now he's facing a lot of pressure here from Shin with the glue wall, and with Bayo in the backline supporting them using the sniper rifle. It's going to be making very hard for Heavy to try to push them up with this hill.
Yeah, Team Flash, they have the high ground, they have the numbers, and so much pressure as well. Heavy, they're running out of space to work with. Budai goes down. Tom actually the last man standing, and he will not stand for long. Team Flash, 14 kills. And they are still pretty much healthy. Basically, the strongest team on the map right now is one remaining for the other two squads. And Team Flash are looking for the closure. Icky is going to get spotted. Kevin, oh, you cheeky little bastard, hiding underneath the bridge. Can he survive long enough, though? He needs help for Icky. If Icky can thin down the numbers of Team Flash, maybe there's going to be a chance for Kevin. But Shin, he knows that there's a troll under the bridge. And 3 Billy goes gruff in the name of Team Flash, gets the booyah in round 3.
And I was like, I mean, it was their round to lose already. As soon as they had that man advantage and the other two squads only had single members, it was just really down to Team Flash to decide which way they wanted to approach. And, you know, Icky was definitely very cheeky underneath that bridge for sure, because like if he actually was able to hide out even longer, the blue zone was actually providing a little bit of a gap there that allowed him to just basically hide, but not enough to hide his whole body though. Nevertheless, Team Flash now with the booyah this time around, so that's certainly going to keep them very much solidly in the lead when it comes to the Vietnam region.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, this is a round that, you know, we saw, I think, 7-9's first team to get knocked out. Expand finished in 10th place. So the two front runners having a very underwhelming round means that maybe we will see a bit of a shift on the leaderboard, right? The Vietnam's team will catch on closer, especially Expand, who did have a slight cushion, but maybe because of this round, that cushion will be removed.
Yeah, certainly. And right now, I want to see whether or not Team Flash will be able to continue that momentum for sure, because by rights, they should be competing with both Sem9 and Expand through today here to see who's going to be taking that you know, top 3 really. But you know, that's really the fight for that top 6 here. As we look back at some of the events that occurred throughout Bermuda here, I mean, there's certainly a lot of things that I didn't expect to see, particularly, you know, Axis really dropping the ball here by like dropping onto a flash and not really fully committing to a fight actually, which is kind of surprising because you kind of have to expect, you know, the unexpected sometimes when you do these kind of long distance drops, but it just seems like they were just completely caught off guard. And Flash as well, huge like initiative on their part to just go ahead and chase down the remaining 2 members, Axis, and eliminating them, knowing that they were already 2 men down, knew they had a huge advantage in that fight already.
This is a good recovery round for VGM after, you know, multiple rounds where they couldn't really get enough points. Same can be said for MDH, a good round for them. Seems like they're carrying the momentum from you know, round number 2 forward. Heavy also doing well. I mean, Buffalo, this guy is just a highlight machine. Of course, at the end of the day, it's Team Flash getting the booyah. And it seems like they've changed the camera angle a bit for the
Final fight.
The team footage, you know,
Yeah.
at least. Nonetheless, Team Flash, yesterday, they got the booyah on round 3 and 4. And it feels like maybe Team Flash is just kind of your mid-round, mid-tournament, midday team, whatever.
Yeah,
It's Vietnam on the board on page 1.
Yeah, maybe they need a couple of rounds as a warm-up first before they can finally get their heads in the game, maybe. But when they do turn up that heat, it literally is on fire here, ladies and gentlemen, because 26 points to 14 is a significant gap in terms of like how much Team Flash has been successful in this round here. I mean, V Gaming and Heavy have been, you know, no slouches in keeping up that Vietnamese dominance in this round here for Bermuda. But, you know, with Team Flash clearly separating themselves from the pack like this, it just feels like Flash wants to solidify their position in not just their own local region, but even within this competition right now as one of those favorites. So, you know, despite the fact they only managed to nail down 2 headshots, they still did a respectable 6,000 odd damage there. And really, Team Flash is one of those teams that, you know, we'll usually have to watch out for in these kind of competitions, because even though they may be quiet in the early phases, but sometimes when they turn up the heat, like I said, it goes literally in flames.
Yeah, this is a team that, this is the World Series Team Flash that we love to see, you know, just spearheading the Vietnam region, especially when we look at the 2 representatives from the region. Recently, one is Team Flash, the other is HQ Esports, and that team isn't even in the challenge group stage. It really says a lot. Team Flash keeping it within touching distance. Maybe they have found that formula, and perhaps Expand and Sem9 would meet that 3rd contender from a different region. We'll find out in the next installment of the phase number 2. But for now, gonna go on a short break, and when we come back, it's gonna go to Kalahari.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming. Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
สวัสดีนะครับผมเอหอยสังนะครับตำแหน่งในเกมอินเกมลีดเดอร์นะครับก็มาจากทีม Attack All แล้วนะครับอยู่ประเทศไทยครับก็คาดหวังว่าน่าจะได้แบบให้ได้ตั๋วครับไปแข่งที่ต่างประเทศต่อครับก็เอาให้เข้ารอบก่อนครับแล้วเราค่อยจะไปวางแผนอีกทีก็หวังอยู่ครับก็มีความกดดันแค่ไหนก็ในเกมก็จะมีอยู่แล้วก็ต้องมีทุกคนอยู่แล้วครับแต่ว่าเราก็เตรียมความพร้อมไว้อยู่แล้วครับเรื่องนี้เพราะว่าเราก็แบบเรื่องประสบการณ์ด้วยแล้วก็ตื่นเต้นนิดหน่อยครับแต่ว่าพอในสถานการณ์จริงแล้วก็ทำได้ครับก็รู้สึกกดดันไหมก็ไม่เท่าไหร่ครับก็ไม่ค่อยกดดันถ้าเราทำเต็มที่พอครับเมตาในแต่ละแพทแล้วก็เราก็ต้องแบบดูบ้างว่าแต่ละแพทเขาอัพอะไรมาบ้างเราก็ต้องศึกษาว่าทีมนี้เขาเล่นสกิลอะไรเงี้ยครับแล้วก็ลองไปดูเขาว่าสกิลนี้แล้วก็เอาไปลองใช้มั่งแล้วก็เอามาลองทดลองบ้างอะไรเงี้ยครับก็เป็นพวกเล่นส่วนมากก็จะแบบเข้าโพซิชันมากกว่าครับโพซิชันก็คือแบบเน้นจุดมากกว่าครับก็ตอนนี้ก็ห้องซ้อมก็พยายามปรับให้กับเข้าน้องที่คนมาใหม่อยู่ก็ต้องเริ่มเข้าได้อยู่แต่เดี๋ยวนี้ก็ซ้อมตีด้วยครับความท้าทายก็มีครับก็คือแบบเราได้ออกถ้าเราได้ตั๋วแล้วก็สามารถแบบได้ตั๋วไปเล่นที่ต่างประเทศก็ทำให้เราแบบตื่นเต้นดีครับเพราะว่าอยู่ในไทยมันน่าเบื่อใช่ครับเพราะว่าเจอทีมไทยเบื่อแล้วครับแผนมันก็ยังไม่มีเลยพี่ก็เตรียมไว้ว่าเราต้องทำให้ดีกว่าเดิมแล้วเราก็จะพยายามทำให้เต็มที่แล้วเราจะไฟทุกที่ฝากหน้าเราครับก็จับตาทีมไหนเป็นพิเศษก็ไม่นะครับก็เราก็เน้นทีมเราเป็นหลักมากกว่าประคองทีมเราให้ได้เล่นมากกว่าครับเพราะว่าทีมฝั่งของข้ามเขาก็จ้องจะมองเราอยู่แล้วคือคู่แข่งที่กำลังดูอยู่นะครับก็ระวังไว้ดีนะครับใครที่บวกกันอยู่ผมจะเป็นมือที่สามจะคอยเข้าเสมอ
They don't want it with me. You got a problem with me? Love. You don't want it with me. Man. You won't ever stop me. Who y'all really got a problem with? Who y'all really trying to solve them with? Who don't really like the sound of this? Who come with me getting down to this? You better step back, get your neck cracked, get laid down when you best step. Better check that with a fresh map. Get lost now with no extract. Like, look. That's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see me heating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look. Y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me. Ay, sound the alarm. We about to go on. You getting it wrong. Time to go off. Can't hold us back. Truth hurts, you always that. My truth lurks till y'all collapse. Now scoop first where your homies at. Come my team with me right now. My team so mean right now. But what you mean y'all out? It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Love, you got a problem with me. Love, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Love, you got a problem with me. Love, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Husky. We're here to bring you guys a continuation of day number 2. Now, after having already played 3 rounds, we're going to be coming back to Kalahari. The only time today we're going to be playing Kalahari. So, as part of like what's been different in phase number 2 compared to phase number 1. In the past, you know, you mostly only had to contend with 2 maps. Now we got for the 4 map rotation going on here. But this time around, you know, we mostly focus on Purgatory and Alpine, as those are the maps we're opening and closing the day with. But now, this second part of the midway point now, we're going to a map that has plenty of verticality when it comes to the game of Free Fire, and definitely some teams we've seen have thrived a lot because of that, haven't they?
Yeah, we have seen a lot of star snipers show up as well. I mean, Buffalo being one of the household names ever since the stunt he pulled out yesterday. So the verticalities and the open areas in Kalahari is going to really be a boon for this guy. Let's take a look at the overall standings by the end of round number 3. Sam9 and Expand not really making too much headway, but Team Flash certainly did after that booyah. It's the 3rd booyah of phase number 2. They got 2 yesterday, and now they are really close to Expand. Just 1 round away before they contest the 2nd spot. The Expand is holding. Heavy still in 4th place. V Gaming Esports still in 5th. So the holy trinity of Vietnam teams are still there with KOG in 6th. Not much has changed.
Yeah, not much going to be changing because, like, especially for that first page, like I had mentioned earlier, the gaps between these teams now are starting to widen up a lot. So what we're going to be seeing more of is actually going to be those guys in the 2nd page actually making the bigger moves here, because you can see that DEWA and FARANG, they're only about 2 points apart from each other. Axis and First Raiders about 1 point away from each other. MDH still has practically 38 points makeup before they can even tie up with King of Gamers. So that's just big, how big of a gap right now there is between the guys in the 1st versus the 2nd page.
Yeah, absolutely. But a slightly worrying fact is also the point gap between 6th and 7th place has also widened by a bit. Just now before round 3 it was 30 points, but right now it has almost gone to 40. So MDH has to put in extra work to catch up, because KOG was a team that we didn't really talk about too much in phase number 1, mostly because they spent a lot of those time in that last place and mostly on the 2nd page of the leaderboard. But right now, since phase number 2 has started, KOG is really showing us that they are worthy to join the rest of their Thailand friends in Jakarta, and they are doing a really good job at it. But all of this would not have been a reality. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about, you know, Thailand being the strongest Free Fire team in this tournament without Snapdragon Elite Gaming. For when gaming matters, they've been with us and given everyone this platform for 2 seasons, and we're still going strong. In fact, this family is just constantly expanding.
Indeed they are, because guess who has already joined in the party here? Samsung Galaxy for the first time joins us in the Snapdragon Pro Series and showing off one of the latest phones, the Fold 4Z. And you know, it just occurred to me that, you know, you could potentially play a game kind of like a DS now with the phones being able to fold up like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have the dual screen thing. I wonder what games can actually take advantage of that kind of layout, because there's so many potential possibilities, isn't there?
There actually is. I want maybe, you know, years down the road when mobile games developer has figured something out, we'll get games that utilizes 2 screens. It's a long stretch, but it's something to be pondered. I've always wanted to have a DS when I was a kid, but all I got was a Nintendo Game Boy.
Hey, that's good enough.
It's not bad. I
Cool.
played some of the classic games, love them a lot. Wish I could relive those moments though, because having the emulator on PC just does not feel the same. Drop down your Twitch prediction in the chat. We have plenty more rounds to go by, so let us know if you think Team Flash is going to continue this momentum, because they feel like a midday team, and this is exactly the midway point of day number 2. We're dropping into Kalahari, and we get a very, very nice flight path.
I like the pilot of this cargo plane that keeps flying around here. He likes to split these maps in very even sides, doesn't he?
Yeah, yesterday was pretty one-sided, right? It's always you know, towards the edge of a map, but today we have a better pilot, and with that comes just
oh my
early
god!
fight.
Oh
What
my
is
god!
this?
Jembo!
They had a stare off for a moment, and Jembo, forced off the building. It really looked good for him, but you know, they still got first blood nonetheless.
I mean, good in that he's able to stay out of trouble. Bad as in now no one can get to him now to revive him unless he falls off, but that might even open up him even more danger. Bayet is going to try to see if he can find other members of Anxiety to fight for here on the sub. But really, I think Anxiety is already peeling out this battle. We do see a member Expand trying to join in or maybe try to take control over the revive point here and hoping to catch anyone who just decides to make a break for it off guard. But FARANG, in the meantime, they've literally lost Gem Ball now, so they need that revive point more than ever. They're going to have to compete with that solo member Expands for it. And there's Xroy now trying to fight against Too Bad. Too Bad uses a glue wall just in time, but now tries to wrap around the tent here to see if he can get a flank now. Xroy is very, very low in health, so one shot is all he needs to take him out, and that's going to be a free extra kill point now for FARANG.
Yeah, the idea is good from Roy, just seeing if he can ambush someone, but doesn't really have the tools to do so. So good on FARANG, 3 kills so far. Sam9 though, running into MDH. It's a very even fight at this point of time. Both teams losing 2 members. Raja getting heavily pressured. MDH just running him down. The king is not long for this round. ZenOP able to get away. There's just a buy point down there if he chooses to go for it, but he decides to travel farther. And this feels like, Purgatory, where Sam9 just didn't really get the start that they want, and now they have to play that long game.
Purgatory is Purgatory, but Kalahari can sometimes be literally Purgatory for some of these teams here. I mean, with Sam9 now down to 1 member, at least they were able to get 2 trades, so it's not that big of a loss in the grand scheme of things. And granted, Sam9 is the leader overall. They still have a huge points cushion to the next rival, which is Expand, and Expand also just lost one of their own members, so, fair is fair. I mean, so far, Sam9 can definitely afford to lose a lot more compared to some of the other teams here. But with this solo member, ZenOP, now running around trying to find a way to bring back the rest of his team, the last thing he will want is to just literally bump into a full squad and just lose the opportunity to get some extra points on Kalahari.
And you definitely know that feeling because that just happened not long ago. So ZenOP, thankfully this time there's not many people around. Wow. It's Anxiety again.
Anxiety.
Had to beat them.
It just had to beat them. I mean, it's just fate. I guess it's just literally fate. It's already written. Aikal, though, will spot out 1 member. Anxiety takes out Kanoho completely from the top there. So maybe Anxiety might have more things to worry about because ZenOP spots Jaboywa coming to inside his warehouse and just completely takes him out as well. So that's 2 people that Anxiety lost to 2 separate fights from 2 separate squads. Now got to be is going to be brought back into the fight now, but Shomai is going to be left a little bit out on the lurch, unfortunately, until they're able to regroup.
Yeah, good news for Zen. There is a revival point right there out in the open. Now he just needs to make sure that he is not spotted. I believe First Raider is kind of in this, around nearby that area, but thankfully Zen has that high ground. Should be able to get his team back. So Sam9 finds some signs of life in this game.
Oh, I don't know about Zen's positioning though. He is very much putting a dance, and Bayet is going to spot him. Now waiting for a good shot.
Oh, misses that one.
Doesn't quite land it, but that's already alerted ZenOP to the fact that he's under fire. So he's going to try to run away, but that might actually delay the bringing back the rest of his squad right now. So maybe that might be the ticket here. But Sam9 certainly going to be under pressure right now. Flash is caught up in this bridge battle here. It looks like they have been able to stabilize this fight somewhat, but there is a red zone just appearing before them right now, and it's going to make it a bit hard for them to find any additional places to loot. So they're just going to hold up there while DEWA in the meantime are also wait. DEWA's not even here in this area right now, so it's mostly just a Flash on the edge of this next circle right now, deciding where they want to go next. Now that the red zone is cleared, we're going to be going to see what VGM and Axis have been up to, because both of them have been fighting around this northern side here near the Council Hall, and this is a very good spot here to try to bring some fights. Not so much of a good spot here for glue wall spammers, because right now that's a heck of a difficult maze to navigate here, and Neptune had the wall just in front of him, just completely trapping them in, I guess what you can call a glue wall igloo here on top of the council hall. Bond is going to try to run away. Unfortunately, he's going to be dropped down so low that he's going to be forced to turn tail and fight. But Exact is going to try to find the exact angle here to keep spraying him with bullets while the rest of his teammates are going to be going up in front. Flame is going to use a grapple gun to try to catch up to where Bond is, just practically chasing him down with both legs and feet. But who is going to be the first one to get there? It looks like it's going to be Flame 7 who will be able to get the knockdown with the shotgun. So VGM loses one anyway.
Yeah, Flame getting some game time today, finally subbing in. So Axis kind of playing around with that roster a bit. VGM were the one who decided to initiate push, but unfortunately Neptune is too strong of an anchor to hold down that area. VGM sent running. Binsu and Vantan still alive, and they do have a vehicle to work with. High tier loot zone right in front of Vantan. Katrina and Binsu has already checked in, so this should be a-okay. There's a vending machine and there's a revival point in the same area. VGM will have so much more time in this round to work with, as Sam9 is then able to complete his revive before he was, almost shot by FARANG. That means Sam9 also get to keep going.
And bringing back the whole of the team means that now they're going to be able to get back into the pace. The problem is, though, that they're going to be quite a bit behind, as most of the teams now have already congregated themselves into this next save zone here. But that good news for Sem9, though, is that they will not likely face too much resistance here by hanging out a little bit longer out by the sub. In fact, they're spreading out a little bit to see if it can take control over the buy point that's close by. But that might put them into the clutches of FARANG very soon, though, because FARANG is also just getting into the southern tip of the circle here and are within range of that next buy point to the east of where Sem9 is and where Sem9 is currently headed towards. First Raiders, seeing that for Refinery's power, this next circle here are going to be moving quickly to try to take control over the high point on this map here, which is going to be Refinery. As right now, Team Flash takes control over the northern side. They may face a bit of resistance soon, with King of Gamers being holed up across the street, and Anxiety, one of their members, actually Kanoho, getting close, but maybe not too close right now. Whoa, actually too close for comfort, though, as Bayo spots him from the window and takes him out pretty easily.
Anxiety so far is not really having much that they could do this round. Being caught out by First Raiders and then ambushed by Sem9. And now Team Flash also getting a drop on them. And speaking about Sem9, it seems like they have ran into FARANG. And if they can take FARANG out, it's going to be sweet, sweet revenge, because FARANG almost stopped them from being able to play this round. It's only too bad that it went down, but FARANG has a revival point to work with nonetheless. Should be able to bring him back. Bias with a long range shot to take down ZNOP. The rest of Sem9 scrambling to protect their friends. He will bring him back up.
Yeah, they're getting shot at from a distance. It's because of Jembo literally spotting them over the horizon right now. So Sem9 under pressure. They're going to try to peel away as a group now, committing to this escape, but they cannot afford to be bogged down here. Jembo can't quite find a clear shot, so he gets on top of the tent now to get a bit of high ground here to spot the movements of Sem9. But looks like they might just have been able to slip past FARANG's fingers, though. But with FARANG still keeping control over this revive point, it is still within the circle right now. So that's further going to add some value to their positioning at this point. MDH, in the meantime, they are on the south side. They've already bumped into Anxiety. He will be able to take down Shomai there. And I think the Anxiety is actually quite a bit split out, so they're not really fighting as a full squad. This was an easy fight here for MDH, and just an extra point to add to their tally.
Yeah, First Raiders also got a member of Anxiety. So this whole round was just Anxiety getting picked off one by one on the map. It really felt like they didn't even get off the ground. But good news is that they're still in the game, so Anxiety has a chance. Expand losing too fast just for a brief moment. They bring him back instantly. Didn't even get to fully ascend into the clouds after that death. MDH 4 points so far, looking good. 11 teams left. As the circle is going to close in once more, and this one's going to be very, very important. All the way to Santa Catarina and Command Post, where Expand and Heavy are located. A very, very densely packed map right now.
I think very interesting as well as this next save zone takes place on the junction, rather the Y crossing here between Command Post and Santa Catarina. So that means it's going to be very wide open outside of the Command Post. I do see a lot of cover for a lot of these teams to actually take advantage of. We see King of Gamers rapidly repositioning themselves, landing on top of where X-Roy is, while First Raiders also uses the grapple gun right now to rapidly reposition themselves. Anxiety as well, hanging very close by to them. They might actually want to try to hot drop them a little bit as they now turn around and realize they're being dropped upon. King of Gamers now going to be facing pressure as Team Flash moves in from the northern side. This is going to be a rush now from one of the top contenders in the phase number 2. So King of Gamers are going to have to hold their ground and commit heavily into this fight. Yanbin is going to spot them inside the window here as King of Gamers scatter out in the open here, trying to prevent themselves from being bogged down in this fight against Flash. In fact, trying to avoid the Flash altogether. Shin trying to get a shot off from a distance there, didn't quite catch that member of that member as he tried to fly away. So looks like Flash just got slipped on by there, already given a slip by KOG.
Yeah, so much chaos happening right now. Axe is also engaged in the fight with the entirety of Heavy, Team Flash around the corner, Anxiety watching this unfold, Mina pushing out to get Neptune out of the way. That glue was going to go down. Neptune not able to put up the next one in time, and Neptune falls. But with Team Flash approaching, Heavy was like, you know what, brothers? You can take this. We are out of here. And Axe is left to be fed to the Sharks. Just absolutely mowed down. A brutal ending. Close your eyes, people. This is not for the faint-hearted. The grenades are getting tossed out as well. I mean, Axe is just trapped, hopeless. It's a very dull moment for the team. Yeah, Team Flash having 7 kills, and Heavy now wants to try and punish Team Flash, but unfortunately doesn't get anything done.
Yeah, because Flash is still using the crest for that advantage. You can easily just pull closer to the river, and that's already a bit of a downward slope they can use as cover, whereas like Heavy, they still have to rely on the vegetation. But now they're going to try to meet Flash right face to face as the grenades came out, flushing them out onto the open, forcing them to use the glue walls to cover their escape. But then Heavy is still giving a massive chase. Now glue wall busters have been brought out as well, so Heavy is going to have to burn their glue walls if they want to continue to chase Flash. They decide to hold back a little bit, and Flash is going to try to use this initiative right now to turn the fight around onto themselves. Nail down Buffalo. Buffalo trying to take shots from a distance there. Still haven't found any hits to pop off yet. While Bayo is just going to try to hold the line here as the glue walls break down. As soon as he brings it up, they will catch out Tom XT. Can they find another member here of Heavy? Looks like they will find Mill now as well. Things are falling apart for Heavy on the front here as Buffalo is still holed up inside the building, not able to provide the long distance support the Heavy needed in that moment there with all the glue walls in place. In the meantime, VGM bumps into Two-Bad, takes out FARANG completely now, and Flash now jumps straight onto Buffalo, takes him out in order to finish off the rest of Heavy, and they've seized control over the north.
Very weird move from Heavy though. They decided to push out. They actually get to gatekeep Team Flash, so unfortunate ending for them. Expand also out as well. VGM takes on Sam9. Anxiety in 7th place, and VGM quickly dispatched by Sam9 and MDH, who were just pecking them from afar. Sam9 with 7 kills, looking for the potential 8th. Just need to round the corner. Boy take gets Zen, that's 1, but Newbie able to provide backup in time and pick Zen back up just out of range of the blue. Actually, no, he takes down the blue zone. Unfortunately, MDH having so much control of the circle right now. Team Flash, you can see them taking flight as they try to move into the circle. Oh, Fikri, a lot of trigger discipline, not willing to take the shot just yet, but he might have to real soon. As Stargo has just found Bloody. First Raiders also doing not too bad. 8 kills in the bag, and they're still kicking.
Flash is quite taking a very interesting approach there. Despite being one of the squads that actually had a full stack early on, they literally tried to split them out a little bit, or rather spread them out a little bit to cover more ground. And it seemed like Flash wanted to actually commit to this fight until First Raiders. Unfortunately, with Bloody already taken out, Flash is down to 3 members now, so they're no longer the full stack that actually goes to both MDH and First Raiders right now. Sen9 has got out of the outside. Fikri, not long but as well, will be taken out by Nuke. So now that's going to put extra pressure onto Sem9 in order to try to make things happen, but no, nothing is going to happen anymore as Newbie gets eliminated now. Team Flash as well getting completely wiped out, so we're down to 2 squads, MDH as well as First Raiders, Vietnam versus Indonesia.
You'll be loving this. These 2 teams have been facing a slump this is good time for redemption. Both teams really healthy, full squad left alive. First Raiders and MDH inching closer towards each other, but you can see First Raiders, they are the one going in for the push. New, very, very low. First Raiders, they won a couple of knocks and they found 2 in a row. As First Raiders overwhelms MDH. Don't cry, last man standing gets a knock, but it is not enough. First Graders finally showing us something that they can be proud of. A booyah on round number 4.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this is so rare to see from them, but finally they made it. They made it to the final fight and they took down one of the really dangerous squads in order to try to take this one here. But they're right, you know, these are 2 squads that were actually having a bit of a slump yesterday, and then now they're starting to come into form. So is this going to be a sign of more things to come here for First Raiders? Just might be.
Yeah, hopefully. As First Raiders, they have been kind of there every once in a while, but this booyah is a massive one for the team. MDH, they do not need to feel too sad. They also got a pretty decent round, finished second, got decent amount of elimination. So at the end of the day, I think these 2 teams who are on the second page can be contented with the result. They just have to kind of keep it going, and you know, maybe they'll be able to contend for first page, because coincidentally, the first page teams, some of them didn't really perform well on this round. You know, 7-9 Expand, they had a very slow one. KOG also knocked out in the mid round as well.
I think this is like the second page guy is already kind of like waking up a little bit and actually amping up more pressure now to the guys who've been traditionally in the lead when it came to this phase. So maybe it might be a balance, switch in that balance of power that we really need in this phase to kind of change things up. So I'm all here for it though, because like again, MDH, I really wanted them to succeed during phase number 2, and especially given how abysmal they had performed in day number 1, and with this now being able to get to that final fight, it's just such a shame they weren't able to get the booyah. But even up against a team like First Raiders Eclipse, a team that, you know, had been consistently putting themselves out there, really trying to find fights, but rarely finding the level of success that some of these other squads, even from Indonesia themselves, have been experiencing. Finally being able to put one good round for themselves, getting 26 points in total, putting them very much ahead of like DEWA United, who literally got 0 points in this fight itself, and that's only going to allow them to even overtake FARANG, because FARANG only managed to net 6 points. So by my calculation, I think First Raiders might stand a good chance of getting themselves to the top of page number 2.
Yeah, and for 7-9, they continue to expand their lead because Expand only got 5 points. But at the end of the day, we're seeing, you know, the second page team, like you said, getting some good rounds in. Anxiety also with 7 points. I believe what 3 out of 3 teams, half of the teams on the first page didn't really have a good round in Kalahari. So this is maybe a good inkling of what's to come. First Raiders Eclipse need to keep this up though, because it's between them and DEWA United Esports, right? Both teams have had very shaky performances. Now, obviously, DEWA United didn't get to play this round because they were taken out very easily. So for First Raiders, hopefully they can kind of carry this momentum forward. Don't be like FARANG. Had a good round 1 and the rest was just pretty much muted.
Yeah, don't be like one-hit wonders, right? You know, just only good when certain situations favor you. So it's consistency that we look for in these kind of long-form leagues here. And First Raiders, you know, the thing that we can say that was really consistent about the first phase is that they got into a lot of fights. The thing that was inconsistent is how those fights usually turn out for them, because sometimes they're usually, you know, facing the wrong end of the rifle, you know, in most of those cases. But I'm glad to see finally that they actually came into form in this round here specifically. So that's still a decent haul of points, and probably makes it a good case with them to be best off the rest here for phase number 2. It's still going to be a bit of a question mark right now whether they can make it into that first page, but I think this is already a solid amount of points with them right now, so that should put them very high up in page number 2, and the higher up you are in page 2, the better the chances of getting to page 1.
Absolutely. I mean, if you fought enough, you would start to kind of get the hang of it, right? So maybe First Raiders just wants to do it the hard way, and all of this would not be possible without our friends and partners over at Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters, it does matter for some of these teams. Well, for all of them, in fact. To make it to Jakarta, you gotta hit top 6 by the end of phase number 2, and that concludes next week. So there's not much time left, but thankfully we have them alongside Samsung Galaxy, powering every single aspect of the tournament, and we welcome them into the family with open arms. On top of that, we also gotta thank Monster Energy for powering us day in, day out, making my veins turn green, and I have no complaints about it. So check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. Last but not least, if you want to power your games with good deals for in-game credits, for top-ups, check out none other than www.kachishop.com. We're gonna go for a short break, recompose ourselves, because when we come back, it's back to Purgatory for round number 5.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
You're now tuning in to the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge Stage Phase 2 Day 2. I'm Husky alongside Victor to bring you guys the final 2 rounds of the day. We're heading to Purgatory again for the second time this day. And today has been more of a switch up, right? Yesterday it was just Vietnam in, Vietnam out. But today we got a mix of both. We got Sem9 getting a booyah, Expand getting a booyah, well, FARANG getting a booyah. Team Flash getting one, and just now we just witnessed First Raiders Eclipse getting their first one.
Yeah, it's a bit of like a mix of, some repeats there, particularly with Sem9 and Flash picking up the booyahs, but also the rise of something new here, which is, of course, First Raiders picking up that last booyah there. That's going to be enough to actually allow them to overtake DEWA United. Not enough to overtake FARANG quite yet, though. They're still about 5 to 6 points shy of that there. And MDH as well, having a brilliant round, has allowed them to solidify the position in 7th place right now ahead of FARANG. So the second page looking very, very healthy in terms of that movement. But conversely, for the first page, nothing much changed materially. It's still pretty much Sem9 in front, Expand in second, Team Flash in third. The 3 Vietnamese squads there in Flash, Heavy, and V Gaming Esports still taking third, fourth, and fifth. And then we got King of Gamers Club being the gatekeepers for those attempting to take away the last slot here towards Jakarta.
Yeah, and the only thing that we gotta watch out for on page 1 is that the gap between Expand and Team Flash has shortened a bit. Because Team Flash, they got that booyah, and Expand, they had they ran into some minor speed bumps, and now we're looking at Expand to see if they can recover from it. Round 3 and 4 were not kind to them. That is why they have effectively used up that bit of roses that they once had. Team Flash have a very, very good chance on overtaking them, but I guess at the end of the day, as long as you're in top 6, it's good news for these teams. So long as King of Gamers just continues to gatekeep 6th place.
I mean, the fact that Expand is 2nd place, even though they have yet to pick up a booyah in phase 2 so far, shows that they actually experienced most of the success, I think, in like the first phase, and that kind of allowed them, the position here to be part of the final 6 going to Jakarta. But right now, the lack of getting booyahs in phase 2, I think is going to become a big problem now with Team Flash coming in with a huge phase 2 resurgence. So let's see whether or not Expand is going to finally find one, in these couple of rounds, or is Flash going to finally overtake them and now become the big contender to actually challenge Sem9 for the lead in phase 2? We'll have to see, though, as we have a look as well onto First Raiders Eclipse as well as MDH alongside Team Flash. He's going to be a team to watch out for going forwards here. So the thing is that, First Raiders, as I said before, we haven't really seen them perform successfully so far. We've definitely seen them a lot on stream, though, because they keep getting themselves involved in fights, just never really been able to kind of bring the whole thing to fruition, to bring maximum points haul for themselves. Finally, there is a round here where they prove that they actually do deserve, some credit for their tenacity. And right now, it's a question of how well can they sustain this, or are they going to still be like those one-hit wonders?
Yeah, and it's a question that they have some time to answer. Kind of feels like high school, where you just have this team that is always starting fights wherever they go. Not looking good in their record, though. They have not won most of them. But contrary to that, Team Flash have won most of the rounds they played in, currently holding the most booyahs in phase 2. 3 out of 10 rounds that they've played. It's a pretty good statistic, and with this, all powered by Samsung Galaxy, the latest addition to the Snapdragon Pro Series family, and we do love having them with us. And there's going to be so much more to come, especially when after the group stage we will head to Jakarta next year in February, early February for the final. So having Samsung Galaxy with us is a big bonus.
Indeed it is. Thank them for joining us in this journey now. The Snapdragon Pro Series has been going on for 2 seasons, and it looks like with Galaxy joining the family, it's only going to get even more bigger. So season 3, baby, on the cards.
Season 3, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
big W.
Big W indeed, for everyone involved, especially in this region here, because what other platform really provides such a huge prize pool for these top teams to compete in, outside of the Snapdragon Pro Series? But I digress, though. we still have plenty more prizes to give out to the current competitors right now in the season of Free Fire. As right now coming into Purgatory one more time. I mean, having seen Purgatory already in these previous maps here, do you see some teams kind of like having a good time, or rather a good, seemingly an advantage compared to others when it comes to this map?
I think so far the more consistent teams are, I think, Sem9, Expand, and the Vietnamese teams. It's pretty much KOG in the mix, basically kind of like the first page team. We did have FARANG getting the Booyah earlier on in our opening round, but that really was a one-hit wonder, because out of 4 rounds that FARANG have played, it's only the Booyah that really counted.
Yeah, beyond that, like, they didn't even manage to get more than 10 points, I think, like in the subsequent rounds. So I mean, it was just it's like all the circumstances that kind of came together really well in that particular round. Specifically, you know, the circle landing on Brasilia there really kind of made the final circle fight so chaotic, and somehow FARANG, you know, took advantage of multiple levels of verticality in order to gain a huge advantage in that fight. But will that kind of lightning strike twice again on a map as big as Purgatory? I doubt so, though, as teams are already hot dropping each other here. Look at Expand and the FR just not really resting on their laurels here, even though they got the Booyah last time. They're just literally thinking that, yep, this is going to be the confidence we need now to take on the big boys here, because Expand takes control over the bottom floor. First Raiders take control over the second floor.
MDH is nearby. This is scary.
Oh boy.
They hear all this happening. Uh-oh. Ikao just dropped down on the first floor. Lozzy having it locked in as well. And what was that flick Lozzy doing? Expand dirty. Incredible response from our Indonesian superstars, but maybe it would not matter if MDH crashes the party. First Raiders able to bring their friends back up. 2 kills so far. Expand having a very, very poor start. It seems like the lightning that strikes twice is Expand not having a game at all. Cobra able to win that 1 versus 1, but he doesn't really have time to get that mad kit unless he can dodge all the shots. This guy puts on his dancing shoes into the time turner to buy a bit of space, but ends up getting knocked out anyways. MDH is the one that shows up. Expand, turning tail, they are running away, keeping themselves in the round, but very, very much bruised.
Well, the thing is, MDH is not waiting to try to flush out the First Raiders, though, because after taking out X-Roy, now they're rapidly moving to try to surround the building that First Raiders is currently holed up in. You can see NP on the lower side, whereas like the other members of MDH as well on the northern side, they're just trying to take control over the ground floor that First Raiders isn't on right now in order to keep them holed up in that first floor. And this is going to make things kind of bad here for First Raiders, because they're going to be out of options very soon on where they want to run out. They're just probably going to have to brute force their way out of this. Oh, but grenades are already coming into play, though, as the skylight is actually quite wide open. That allows Don't Cry to throw a couple more grenades their way as the rest of MDH now storms up the staircase now, trying to find the other members of First Raiders. First Raiders fighting back right now. Managed to get 2 knockdowns here, but Don't Cry is not going to be able to hold out for too long, though. He can't really find the last one. He finds it, though, just in the nick of time. It takes out Lozzy to allow MDH to win this fight against First Raiders Eclipse.
Oh, the last one, Mustang. Don't Cry got a collateral with those shotgun slug shots. First Raiders Eclipse almost put out one of the best openings that they've had. Contrary to that, Expand being the first team to get knocked out, Team Flash would be really, really happy with this turn of events. MDH getting the last laugh off of that. 6 points, 3 minutes in. And that's the start that they need. You know, they were so close to making it on the top 6. And now this opening for them would put them even closer to that.
And that's one thing, like, I don't know whether this is going to be, you know, a symptom of the Battle Royale genre in particular, or is it like something with Free Fire specifically, but this concept of like the third party actually being the team that has advantage is starting to rear its ugly head, I think, in some of these fights, because otherwise, you know, it would have been a straight fight between First Raiders and Expand, but once MDH entered, not only did they wipe out Expand, but went on as well to wipe out First Raiders. It kind of tells you that maybe, you know, like any kind of teams that really want to take the aggressive strategy of just going around picking fights may not be the salient thing. It's just kind of like making it more more viable just to kind of sit around and just wait to hear gunshots come around and just decide to go in third party that instead. Nero getting bombarded not just by the red zone, but even from Renz and Rain, literally raining bullets onto him as he tried to duck into the house. So that's a very dead member of MDH. Unfortunately, very unfortunate to get caught out in that position too, because DEWA was already set up on top of that hillside. But yeah, back to this thing about the third party. I wonder, you know, what is going to be the best way to kind of like change incentive maybe for some of these teams, because right now it just feels like it's less advantageous for you to just go out and find fights and more like just reacting more to other people starting fights.
I suppose it's also kind of part of the strategic part of Battle Royale. Right? I think the concept is last man standing, so it's just do whatever you can to get there. I do feel like maybe we are seeing more of the third party thing, but not necessarily a bad thing. Right? I think this also forces team to adapt a bit more. But I do wonder, now you got me thinking, what kind of incentive can you implement to encourage more third party, or prevent that from happening too often? I was thinking of an assist system, but that actually is technically in the game.
Technically, and I think it also gets messy when you start to add assists to the championship points, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one.
I don't know.
Food for thought.
Food for thought for sure.
I think Free Fire has added elements that just made the gameplays more and more interesting, right? We started with the Vector Kimbo 2 years ago. Right now, and then at that time, people are not focusing on long-range fights. They're just running at each other. There's not much utilities, not much troubles getting used. And afterwards, we entered the era of utilities being more favored. People are starting to learn those lineups. And then now we get a balance of everything. And we had the Blue Wall Busters coming in. We had the Seekers getting used a bit more. Bonfires being thrown out. It's just good evolution, honestly. Competitive for the competitive stage.
No, again, like it's not really taking away from Free Fire as a game. Really, the criticism I was giving is just more of like just noticing this kind of pattern when it comes to the matches we've seen so far. So I wonder if there are some other methods that maybe the Free Fire development team has not considered yet. So just kind of pondering this question, really, having seen multiple third-party fights where this literally the third party is the one having seemingly the advantage in every way. I mean, not to take away as well from MDH's little victory over 2 squads in a row. I mean, they frankly deserve it, and really they're a squad that needs this kind of like victories here, to catch things up. In the meantime, King of Gamers, what is going on here? VGM literally running into the middle of King of Gamers now, and King of Gamers blowing up the car and catching Vantan with his pants down. Trobo's being sent out to try to keep VGM split up completely, as Kevin now focuses his attention on the other side here, where more of the members of VGM are just mostly holed up in this maze of blue walls, as they do have a member of KOG also stuck in the middle of their midst there. Bingsu now able to try to get the knockdown of that member of KOG as VGM tries to stabilize this fight here. Vantan now trying to make his way back, but Kevin's going to try to gatekeep him from the rest of this fight right now. Vantan forced to burn out even more the blue walls. Unfortunately, King of Gamers loses Kevin 77. He was the last person standing, and VGM still has the full stack.
Started out very weird, but VGM had a plan. Just split the attention of KOG.
What is?
Might catch a free one. DEWA just casually going out on a trip. That vehicle, if he takes one more shot, it's going to go down. Oh, they're trying to find it. Almost gets it. DEWA barely making it out of sight. Exactly, playing with fire. But as long as they get out, I think it's good news for them.
Yeah, it's good news for them for sure. And I think this is another aspect of Free Fire here that's worth talking about. It's like that long-range spread. The bullet spread is just, I think, a little bit too wide. It kind of makes like long-range battles unviable. That really kind of emphasizes more on those close quarters sort of fights. That's why you normally see things like shotguns and SMGs being more of a factor in these games compared to like the standard rifles, really, because you just prioritize a little bit more about the the DPS you can get out of those weapons, and the effectiveness at close range versus long range is certainly a huge gulf when it comes to the Free Fire weapon selection. Nevertheless, VGM not resting on their laurels here, are going to try to find a way to gatekeep Flash, who are now having their backs against the wall with the blue zone already closing in. Now they're going to be desperate to try to prevent VGM from keeping them bogged up in this fight, but they can't really find a good opening here given how wide open this space is. But they will have the high ground a little bit as they continue to push VGM further and further back into the safe zone. But how many more glue walls can they afford to spend right now? Do they want to use it all just for this fight alone, or can they save some of it for the final circle?
Binsu's back is just slightly exposed. Shin gets a good shot in. VGM, now after that fight against KOG, they decided to hold it here for a while. Team Flash might punish them though. Yanbin kind of putting a fast one on them with that McLaren as VGM feeling a bit more constricted. Claustrophobia in an open ground. It's not really what you see every day. Both teams suffering a casualty so far. Team Flash losing Shin, Vantan going down, Yanbin in the red, and is actually taken down by Kanoho from afar. Team Flash also not looking too healthy. Bloody getting sniped. Boite once more on the ground, but it's just a collective effort from Anxiety helping VGM from afar to take down Team Flash. VGM down to 2 members, but knowing where Anxiety is, they will have to kind of take the long way to get out.
It's still massive damage done to VGM's lineup though, but then they do manage to eliminate Flash completely, so that's 4 points that are going to be very, very much savored there by this Vietnamese squad as well. FARANG in the meantime has just only made their way to this next safe zone. Only see that the next circle is going to be a little bit far away as well, so they're going to have to continue to make the push now out into the open here. Good news with them is that there's not going to be much resistance on their way there, because whoever's in front is mostly Axis, who is currently tied up with Heavy at the moment, and there's a buy point coming in nearby, so maybe FARANG might be able to make use of that to get some additional equipment that they need. Specifically, I think they need a lot more throwables there, because like Too Bad has literally 14 glue walls in his kit right now. They have plenty to use for this final fight later on.
Vantan getting caught out. Heavy getting that kill. VGM, they didn't have much time to recover. And Vantan is a good example of that. Now Boite is the one getting pushed. Gotta win this one now. Only has a pistol in hand. Heavy trying to run him down. Bensu coming in to provide a bit of backup. Tom XD, he is just right outside the building. But VGM felt like they couldn't contest this though. Trying to pinch the Tom XT. Can Tom find an isolated fight? He knows Boite is there and Binsu on the other side. It's going to be a fight of patience. VGM thinking about doubling up onto Tom, but this is going to take a lot of effort. They have that explosive in hand, but Tom XT is still pretty much alive, getting some support from his teammate. Sem9 Newbie decides to join in from afar, kind of crippling Heavy a bit. Me now is out of this fight. Heavy don't really feel like they can commit fully to this now with Sem9's present in the mix, but Tom XT doesn't have much choice to work with. You gotta try and get through the members of VGM and break line of sight, and it seems like he is able to do so. Buffalo with Fu Dai taking a FARANG off screen. This is just a messy fight. Axis somehow also a part of that.
Yeah, and in the meantime as well, another fight was breaking up between MDH and DEWA United, and MDH winning that fight by a handy mile there, almost decimating. What was that? What's from Newbie? A grenade to eliminate almost the entirety of Anxiety. Only Jaboywa is left here to try to hold his ground, but how long can he do so? And now MDH decides to get into the fray as well, catching Sem9 a little bit off guard and trying to take the high ground compared to them. Jaboywa uses this opportunity of this chaos to try to run away. He almost got spotted by Zen OP, but now Sem9 has bigger problems here because MDH still has a full stack. Sem9 only has 2. And now throwables come out. Zen OP brought down half his health. Don't Cry gets to on top of the rock right now to try to take down these 2 members. Radar is going to be caught on the outside. So will Zen OP. MDH takes out Sem9 as well.
I'll tell you the worst part of what Sem9 did. Great 3-man nade. All of them stolen away by MDH. Sem9 got nothing out of that. They did all the dirty work, and MDH not only claimed that, they also took care of Sem9, and now they're about to finish off Anxiety. Kill number 15 coming through. MDH, a monstrous round for them. This is going to get them into top 6 in no time. And they are still pretty much healthy. All 4 members of MDH still going strong. VGM down to the last leg, surrounded by Heavy. And can Ban hold on to this though? Heavy are circling that compound like a bunch of sharks. Fu Dai just pushing forward. No quarter given to Ban. VGM are out.
Yep, and now now Heavy is the only one to try to hold out inside the buildings here, but MDH is up on top, and they still have plenty of glue walls to use there, so no way for Buffalo to find an empty spot to shoot at.
MDH are pushing them already.
Yeah, MDH is already not just pushing the Heavy specifically, but already be sending their members down to try to take control of the circle, as Axis is also doing literally the same thing, so they will collide in the middle of the trees there, while Nuke still continues to try to hold out against Heavy here. Fudai trying to keep an eye out for him as Nuke takes out to the picket fences here, but Heavy, seeing that the Blue Zone is already closing in, decides it's going to be better to just run towards the safe zone now and try to make a pull back and see whether or not they can be able to catch Nuke as he tries to come around. Robots are coming out as well, as they will try to catch out Nuke while he is on the outside trying to dance around with the edge of the Blue Zone here, but now he's been holed up. Tom XD in the meantime getting knocked down by the Blue Zone itself, and we also have MDH providing fire from atop there that's actually killing Heavy's chances of getting to the safe zone.
They are delaying Heavy so well. I mean, Nuke, he even makes it into the safe zone. The strategic approach from MDH working out so well. They just need to get through Axis. This is one of the best rounds that MDH ever has, and the last obstacle, honestly, is going to be Axis. 3 more teams remain, but it feels like MDH have already won this round. They are literally at the top of the hill. They are the kings right now. Axis needs to push on forward. They got to take care of the last member from DEWA United, though, and Ray needs to go, but Xac is down. Nero shows up, and Nero gets 2 in a row. Raph is also gone. Axis, not long for this round. MDH, this is their round. This is what MDH is meant to accomplish from the first place. A booyah for this team. Top 6, very, very much in sight.
Oh, that just brings a smile to my face right now. If everyone's celebrating in the gaming house here for MDH, this is great news here for the Vietnamese squad that had been finding themselves out on the lurch there compared to their brothers who have been in that first page. I think this is now like a campaign for them to get into the clutches of both of all of the compatriots here coming from Vietnam. So well done, MDH. I mean, that's 2 rounds in a row that was amazing. This has definitely been the best I've seen MDH of so far.
Yeah, we said that the gap between 5th and 6th is 30 plus. I think this is going to put them basically just 1 round away from breaking into the top 6 and knocking KOG down into the second page. This is a fantastic round for MDH. I think they themselves also know it. See the celebration by the end of the round. This is the kind of moments that you live for free fire.
Yeah.
Plenty more to go, but for MDH, it's a very, very good recovery, especially after such a slump from yesterday. So good on them. I mean, lovely.
And also another thing that like you pointed out earlier was that they had like a lot of good team coordination really with like the way that Nuke was desperately trying to peel away from that fight with Heavy, and it looked at points that if he had been banned at that point, I think Nuke would definitely have been taken out very early on. But we saw MDH literally provide supporting fire from on top there, and that actually gave the opportunity for Nuke to rejoin the rest of his team. And yeah, I mean,
it started with just that Don't Cry clutch, right? They were almost wiped out by First Raiders, so it's not just a recovery of points, it's a recovery in the round. I mean, Don't Cry, he's just gonna get a good meal from his teammates later on. He kept them alive, and they rewarded him with a booyah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go ahead and like order all the best stuff only for that dinner, man, because they definitely deserve to have a hearty feast after a battle like that. And this is the way they managed to finish off the final circle is just like chef's kiss as well, because it's literally a king of the hill battle here. Wow, look at that, 29 points. And the thing is that we've largely been seeing that teams have been able to hit like this high amount of this high of a score here. The other teams conversely aren't able to farm as much kills, so they're stuck either at 16 or 14 points, as we can see here for V-Gaming, Esports, and Axis. So that's further going to add to the tally now between MDH as well as King of Gamers. And oh yeah, with King of Gamers only literally getting a single point right now, might be a high chance that MDH might have just made it into the first page.
Yeah, I mean, Expand is 0, Sem Knight is only a 6. The rise of the second page seems to be the theme of the day. Round number 5 just belongs to MDH. I mean, Don't Cry not only saved them, but he also top frag in the entire round. So there is some things are just meant to be, an MDH getting that booyah is one of them. This is going to be one of the biggest boosts for them. even in phase 1, we said that MDH is going to be up there, right? They had a pretty decent performance. Come phase 2, and then we start to see, oh, can MDH really make it? But they have just dispelled a majority of that doubt. Now is just one more round on Alpine to kind of see if where MDH would stand by the end of the day.
Indeed. I mean, again, we've just been seeing like a whole spectrum of different maps, you know, leading up to this point. I mean, MDH wins out here in like Purgatory and then previously in Kalahari. So now, I guess Bermuda might be the next kind of thing for them to conquer, but I guess it's going to be a little bit harder given how much experience a lot of teams have with that map specifically. But I digress though. MDH is definitely on the up and up, and we're going to be continuing to see whether they can continue to rise on, as we will be taking a short break before we bring you guys the final round of day number 2 for the SBS Free Fire. We'll see you guys after the break.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Cả hai.
Wake up early to play game.
Wake up early to play game.
Bangun lebih awal main game.
Wake up early to play games.
Thức khuya để đọc sách.
No shower for Oman.
No shower for Oman.
Gak mandi sebulan.
No shower for Oman.
100 kali push up.
Push up 100 kali lah. With enak.
100 push-ups.
100 push up.
Yoga class.
Sống không có PC.
Live without AP.
Live without phone.
ใช้ชีวิตโดยไม่มีคอมได้เขาตัดไปไหนก็ได้เขาใช้คอมมันก็ต้องเล่นอยู่ที่บ้านอย่างเดียว
Mà tôi sẽ kia.
Xung quanh.
Không, em không muốn bệnh.
Cái mắt đi.
Thì đồng pil.
เอาเป็นน้ำมูกดีกว่าครับเพราะถ้าน้ำตาจะทำอะไรมองอะไรไม่ค่อยสะดวกมีแต่น้ำตาไหล
เจอหนูในห้องครัว
เจอหนูนี่หว่าพี่
Ôi, có chuột đi à? Thì cô sẽ đã put. Always in your bed.
Tán, một con tán không được.
เพื่อนหนูดีกว่าครับไม่เอาครับมันน่าขยะแขยง
Thuật in internet đi.
Lagi phone.
Lagging phone.
Handphone deh yang lag. Gak apa-apa, yang penting internet bagus.
Leaky phone.
เน็ตแหลกดีกว่าครับก็หนักทั้งคู่อะ
Tình yêu đích thực.
Never run out of battery.
ไม่เจอรักแท้ครับ
มันมีอยู่แล้วไงพี่รักแท้อะ
Mình sẽ thà không xem TV trong vòng 1 năm à?
Không xem TV vào 1 năm.
ไม่มีทีวีปีหนึ่ง
Forever alone. Arranged marriage.
Arranged marriage.
Không cô đơn là không sống được rồi nè. Hôn nhân sắp đặt cũng không được luôn nè. Mình phải tìm tình yêu cho chính mình.
Look at my shine with the blow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where I, Victor Cax, and him, Husky, we're gonna be, guys, literally the last round for day number 2. So if you guys have missed out a lot, missed out the rest of the matches here for today, you missed out a lot here, because, like, frankly, we're seeing the resurgence of a lot of the teams that previously had been struggling in phase number 2. Now they're starting to come back into the fold, particularly MDH. Back-to-back Booyahs have kind of put them back in contention.
There
it is. Joining together with their compatriots from Vietnam is going to be an all-Vietnamese affair from 3rd place to 6th place onwards, and we'll like to see if MDH can successfully keep that last slot.
Yeah, they needed one good round and they got it. All started with Don't Cry, really just carrying the team on his shoulders, and they all returned the favor. Of course, the fight for 6th place is still pretty much up in the air. They are only 2 points ahead of King of Gamers Club. But it's good to see that now we're one extra contender for top 6 instead of kind of the hierarchy that we ended day 1 with. Between Farang and King of Gamers Club is literally 40 points. I hope that as we progress in phase 2, we get more teams contesting for top 6. But right now, MDH have put themselves in a good spot, knowing that they have a shot. But Semnai still in 1st place. Expand and Team Flash's gap though, that one is closing in. Closing
every round, it seems. And, you know, last round, Flash got themselves kind of swamped a little bit, so that certainly is kind of put a stop to the progress that they made from round number 2. And, you know, speaking about progress as well, King of Gamers Club now finding themselves back onto the 2nd page. Though this time they are on top of the 2nd page itself, so not too bad of a loss here. They're still only about 2 points away from tying up with MDH, so if King of Gamers can find themselves a good final round here, that might be the ticket for them to stay in 6th place. But certainly, well, with the Vietnamese squads now fully together with their powers combined, might this be the way that Vietnam takes over Jakarta? Maybe.
I mean, Thailand is already taking over Jakarta. 4 Thailand teams there. There's just 2 less space, right? It's impossible if we want to ask for a full stack from one region to be there. It seems like it's easier for Vietnam to do so. We'll just have to see. All of this though has been, you know, great. And if you wonder why are these players landing on the 6 shots, why are we always juiced up, it's thanks to Monster Energy being here with us for the entire journey. They've also been with us for 2 seasons, so can you imagine the amount of power I have right now thanks to them? Check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming to get more info on that. But all you need to know that is we have been jacked with just Monster.
I know.
And it's a good thing.
And sometimes, like, especially when I'm deep into some of those gaming sessions and I really need some extra boost of focus, I'll just like grab my nearest can of like Monster and, you know, just get a recharge. And sometimes, you know, especially if I overdose a little bit, and it kind of gets me, you know, a little bit more anxious. Maybe I'll come a little bit by anxiety as well, you know, just kind of like really getting kind of like scared with even the slightest bit of noise. I literally got jump scared by a boss fight in Halo Infinite of all things. And
I get that feeling. I get jump scared all the time. I get jump scared by normal mobs in the current game I'm playing right now. It's just normal dungeon run, take a swig of my Monster. I feel very, very focused. But I feel like being too focused is not such a good thing when you relies a lot on audio, because, you know, I'm easily scared. You know, I can't take it. I think Free Fire is a horror game. If you ask, you know, if
it's literally the most competitive survival horror game out there.
Yeah, you hear all the footsteps around you. You know, you swing a corner and you get blasted by a shotgun. It is a horror game.
It's a horror game.
You know what we need? We need a horror battle royale in the future.
Oh man, that's gonna be spicy, really.
Yeah. So instead of all these, like, you know, bright maps, now we need dark maps. We need maps that you, where, you know, information gathering is more important.
I mean, you know, just kind of like bring back a little conversation we had earlier about third-party fights, right? Like maybe
Oh, yeah.
that's what Free Fire needs, you know, more like stealth mechanics, things that allow teams to kind of like slip out of battle unnoticed.
I mean, the one we have is pretty cool. You know, you get to turn into a brush. That one is pretty cool.
It's
Not
still,
gonna lie.
you know, I mean, on a map like Kalahari, sometimes that will be a little bit too obvious, I think.
That is correct. The only map that has no like greeneries on it.
Oh, not really no greenery, but very little to the point that literally a bush will stick out like a sore thumb. So
It will. With that Expand and VGM getting into an early skirmish, and it seems like Expand got the head start. Getting an initial drop onto Boite, trying to look for the finisher, but and it actually will find it. VGM just losing that early fight. Expand looking for more, but Ban, he is trying really hard to keep it going, but unfortunately he just got pincered. Good move from Axel. 2 kills for Expand.
Axel using an axle from the McLaren's axle to just smash there and grab that. So good job, Axel, really. But nevertheless, Expand now having full control over Fountain View. Looks like they're also keeping the, Ocean View. They're also keeping very close to where Forest Red is, which seems to be their base of operations, quote unquote, when it comes to the map of Alpine. So that's been a pattern we've seen from even the last Alpine map as well. Meantime, King of Gamers getting to a scrap right now with MDH. MDH actually a little bit spread out now that I look at it, because Nero is all the way trying to hold back Sem9 over here, and he's completely solo in this regard. Is he going to get spotted? Indeed, he's already been spotted here, trying to hold his own here, taking a lot of damage. ZenOP will take him down, but not before Nero actually took a huge chunk out of ZenOP's health. Another member of MDH here, actually 2 of them are going to try to hold up against King of Gamers, who are right now inside the house. NP and Nuke inside the separate houses here. In fact, Nuke is on top of the roof here in order to try to just keep King of Gamers at bay. Now that's going to keep him exposed to a lot of damage here, while his teammate tries to provide support from a distance. That kind of forces Knight and Osaka to try to hold back a little bit. But right now, I think MDH is going to need a lot of backup, because King of Gamers still has a lot of people around. Newbie in the meantime snipes out that member of KOG, and NP is going to use this opportunity of the confusion here to try to put more shots onto JLX.
KOG, they if they can take out MDH, then that's super good news. This is literally the team that overtook them, but not the start that they were looking for. Sem9 not wasting any time. They are now crashing the party. MDH not ready for this, but even more is KOG with JLX basically stuck in the compound. Nuke, he's hearing all of these footsteps from Sem9. I mean, MDH, they never really were committing to this in the first place, so they're not too worried about it. They are very far. Don't cry. He can peel away whenever he wants. Newbie, though, he's going to show up and just blast Nuke in the face. This is an easy takedown for them.
Yeah, but the rest of MDH has already peeled away here, just allowing Sem9 to try to finish off King of Gamers maybe, but King of Gamers conversely also pulls away towards the solar array just south of where Sem9 is, and that's towards base camp. 3 members now, as a buyback has already been brought in by Kevin, so that's going to allow King of Gamers to be back to full strength. Now Sem9 scours the area near the solar array that unfortunately just kind of falls into this next red zone, so ZenOP quickly makes haste to rejoin the rest of his squad.
Expand. So far, so good. 4 points on the board. They need a recovery round for sure after kind of a slump for 2-3 rounds in a row. I mean, this team, if they're watching the broadcast, if they're looking at the leaderboard, they know they need a good round, and they also need Team Flash to not have a good round. Axis, on the other hand, they have made a bit of contact with DEWA United, but they are separated by water on the opposite side of the island, so shouldn't have too much scuffle for now.
This feels like a repeat of the last Alpine map, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was literally DEWA and Axis in the same positions. DEWA eventually made the way across the bridge, so let's see whether or not Axis will hold them back this time, though. So, I mean, that's I mean, it's funny to see that, but again, you know, when we talk about teams and maps, the relationship between the 2 of them, sometimes teams will always have a very set sort of like pathway way that they normally do map after map in spite of wherever the drop zone ends up being going to. Nevertheless, Heavy in the meantime getting an encounter with Anxiety, managed to catch them a little bit slipping at the moment because not only did they take out Shomai there, but they may also be able to take out Got to Be. So look at that Buffalo yet again. Ever the sharpshooter there, this time armored, but AC-80 makes quick work of Got to Be. So Heavy now with 2 extra elimination points.
Yeah, you love to see Buffalo in action. Just one quick shot to the skull. Anxiety still going with 2 members left, and they have also captured, or at least capturing a revival point advantage. So some form of solace for this team right now. They will have to tank that blue zone, but it's just phase number 1, not too big of a deal. All of the teams still left alive, and you know, when Anxiety gets fully captures this zone, we will basically hit the reset button.
So, I mean, reset in every sense of the word, though, because, again, the newly revived members are still going to have to start their farm from scratch, which means it's only fists and pistols for them to begin with, as we continue on the endless charade between DEWA as well as Access Esports. Right now, this next circle actually lands on top of this fight here, so there's no incentive now for DEWA nor Access to move, and we might even see a potential for a water circle.
This is the same circle that we got yesterday on Alpine. Almost the same, honestly. So, kind of a carbon copy. If that's the case, then maybe we get another Vietnam team against the Booyah. We'll see if that's going to be the case, though. I mean, Axis, they need to gatekeep DEWA, but I think VJ will keep DEWA busy. They have Heavy to contend with. So they got to be ready for this fight, though. Heavy have already arrived at Stadium, and it's not going to take long before they decide to go for the push. You know, judging by how Heavy has been playing as a team, this is the squad that they are not afraid to pull the trigger.
Not afraid, really, but Axis is also opening themselves up to a flank now from Heavy coming from the southern side. FARANG, in the meantime, getting a little bit of pepper shots coming in from Anxiety, though, as they run in the midst of their lineup on their way to this next safe zone. So it looks like they're going to be holed up here for a little bit. With Anxiety having been newly revived, they're certainly going to be looking to try to get some additional kills here before getting to the safe zone to just take the loot away from FARANG. But FARANG also has a vehicle as well, which they're using to circle around Shomai and keeping him on his toes very much. He spots someone through the window, now tries to run around the side here. 2 members of FARANG now giving chase here, forcing Shomai into a very unfavorable position, and he's going to get taken down and out of the map.
Actually, pretty decent value considering he has nothing and he still got a kill for himself, but the rest of Anxiety putting up numbers. Good knockdown for Konoho, even just goes for the nade rebound for some extra style points. Let's save some time. Second one for Anxiety so far. 2 more members of FARANG left alive. Jembao goes for a cruise, but Toby, he's going to be around that area. How does FARANG handle this? This is going to be the big question, though. They need to be aware of Anxiety, as FARANG are very much split up. And on the mini screen down there, we see if Team Flash taking on Expand. This is going to be a big fight. Expand, if they win this one, they will get to pull away from Team Flash on the leaderboard. So far, Expand looking decent. 5 points in. Cobra 1 versus 1 wins out against Shin. A very crucial knockdown. Expand gets their boys back. Team Flash out of this one.
Wow, that was very, very tight, though, for Expand, because Team Flash is no slouch when it comes to these close quarter battles, and it's good that Cobra and X-Ray were still able to hold their own despite the Axel getting knocked down quite early on, and as well as their teammate Too Fast already been taken out in the previous fight. So FARANG, in the meantime, they lost by it, they lost Spade, so Jembal and Too Bad are now desperate to try to find a good revive point to bring back the teammates. Jembal's already found one, so he's going to be able to get a revive before the blue zone inevitably consumes him. So it's going to be a little bit of a late mid-stage circle, though, so it's still not that painful for them, but so FARANG definitely will be able to take advantage of having a lot of loot around the stadium and plenty of buy points, actually, as long as they can prevent Heavy from getting too much attention on them. MDH, in the meantime, bumping into Anxiety right now. Look at where the circle is going.
We are getting almost the same circle, but with more water this time. First Raiders finding Sem9, getting an initial knock. Sem9 pretty much spread out, but the bad news is only going to get worse because we not only have a 3-way fight on you know, the northern side with KOG, First Raiders, and Sem9. As Sem9 tries to run away, you have Expand near that area. Let's see if Sem9 can make it through this. It seems like they can't. They have just fired a shot towards Sem9. Towards Expand, so the Sem9 Expand battle is going to begin very soon, and if Expand wins this one, we are going to see this very this distance between first and second being closed.
It's going to be such a good opportunity for Span, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's see whether or not they will be able to win it out, because it looks like it's going to be a battle between East Coast and West Coast pretty much, with the river just running right between them here. So, oh boy, this is going to be a spicy one indeed. As First Raiders and King of Gamers bump into each other now, the Thai squad trying to find a way around First Raiders, while First Raiders peel out to the outside here, making sure that the open ground is going to be toxic here for King of Gamers, as they also get a launcher trying to run away right now as the blue zone comes in. King of Gamers can only just watch as First Raiders entirely slips past their grasp and try to send some shots their way to no avail. First Raiders escape successfully.
Lovely call from First Raiders. I thought that they would take on King of Gamers, but the call to just get away into the circle as a priority is great. Now they can get KOG, who are trying to kind of close the distance with their vehicle, but they won't have priority of their safe zone. And nonetheless, you have MDH nearby. Everyone is busy. 11 teams left, and we only, we are already 12 minutes in. This is going to be so hectic for most of these squads. Sem9 getting free shots of the Expand, but not getting value out of that. VGM also helping out. Roy on the ground, brought back up. Exo on the fire. Oh, Expand in a really tough spot right now. They are getting intercepted left, right, and center. The circle is not helping any of these lads, but Expand might expire very soon. Their hopes almost dashed. Cobra trying to keep the hopes of his team alive, but that glue wall is going to go down. He puts up another one. ZenOP going in for the push. Exo is back up. They need to keep the hopes alive, but there's only one left for Expand. Exo is dead. Cobra the last man to stand up against ZenOP. ZenOP, do you have anything left in the tank? Cobra, do you have anything left? None for Expand. They are out.
Wow, that's so messy there, and Expand certainly took like the brunt of most of that three-way there, but now it's going to be a two-way between DEWA as well as Sem9, and Sem9 are down one member compared to DEWA, so they are going to be fighting with a disadvantage. I wonder what happened with FARANG just now. I saw them trying to loot outside in the blue zone, but it seems like they didn't have enough health packs or something, so they just kind of got taken out by the blue zone itself. Nevertheless, though, DEWA still trying to hold their ground against the Sem9 now. Is DEWA, who are the gatekeepers for the leader on the board here. Ray get a good quick shot there against Fikri. Should be able to finish him off just as the blue zone consumes them. Now two members left in Sem9 side. Oh, quick destruction of the glue walls, allowing them to just kind of like spend a lot of these walls right now as they try to hold the line here. DEWA still having the man advantage. Sem9 now. Raja has been taken out. One more remains here. Doesn't look like he's going to be long with his world though. Can he peel away from this battle? Looks like DEWA should be able to keep him out of harm's way there, as they now focus their attention to the center of the circle.
Wow, Ren escaped with the help with the inhaler. He was so close to going down, but just a little health. All you need is just a bit of health to get away, but Virus, he's been knocked. Oh, VGM right in front of them. This circle is gonna get it worse, and look at what has happened. DEWA and VGM now has to cross the river, and on the other side, you have MDH being the primary team waiting, but DEWA will not get the chance. Sem9 might follow as well. VGM getting a couple of pushes in, but they only have one kill thus far. Axis on the other end of this river. VGM, how do they do this though? Heavy has gotten one part of the safe zone. MDH is the one under fire. First Raiders is actually there. MDH, unfortunately, I think is already out of this one. Axis Esports looking pretty healthy.
I tell you what though, Heavy might also stand a good chance of winning this out, as well as they're quick to take control over the eastern side of this next circle. And VGM is still stuck out on the ports. The thing that they have going for them is that there are a little bit of rafters that could kind of use as like very mild cover. But I'm not sure how many glue walls they still have, especially after spending a lot of that in the fight against Sem9. Now Heavy is going to be bumping straight into the middle of Axis here. It's going to be a four-way fight as well. As VGM literally jumping into this as well. They're going to make it a full-on melee between these four teams teams as bonfires, glue wall busters, glue walls themselves are coming out to play here. Buffalo trying his very best to find any targets to shoot, cannot really find any, so Gilly will try to wrap around here as Heavy continues to try to hold the ground floor, but they gotta watch out for Bond on top though. He's gonna be providing a lot of information for his team here for VGM. Axis as well, finding themselves in a bit of a quandary there. Exact already down on the ground. 2 members of Axis are still around to try to keep the fight going as VGM take control over this ground floor. They're trying to find a way to get up to the next floor there. That's where First Radius Ikal is at the moment. Neptune is still on the second floor as well, trying to peek out through the windows to see any other members of Heavy trying to make their way inside.
Yeah, it's the last circle is closing in. Axis and First Raiders, they're trying to play this sneakily, but Heavy, he's looking for them. Me now, he's taking control of the second floor. VGM out in the open. Boite, not healthy. He is down. VGM still around this one. Ikao, he only has a pistol. This guy was revived. He has nothing, but he's letting the blue zone do the work. Can Ikao really sneak this away? It felt like it will be a big steal if Heavy cannot win this one, but Ikao, oh, he's moving. That blue wall has been knocked down. Axis is out. Heavy looking for the last member, and it's literally just Ikao. He's just gotten Tom XD on the ground. Heavy pushing in. They are not gonna let this slip away. Not this time. Fuda, I guess not. But Ikao could not sustain long enough. Heavy with the booyah to close out the last round of the day.
Wasn't he on the literally on the rooftop earlier on? Oh, why did he decide to go down? If he had just stayed there, actually thinking that he would actually be able to stay out of reach of Heavy for most of it, but again, Heavy, as usual, looking a little bit more elated, I would say, compared to their success in day number 1. But this is literally another feather to add to the cap, though, because, you know, Buffalo, again, such a monster on those sharp shots. But it really was more of a close quarter fight, I think, in this last one here. But Heavy still handled it very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to VGM, able to make it across the body of water as well, and decides to just get down and dirty. You know, VGM didn't even wait, just rush into the final zone to fight for their lives. But what a way to close out the last map. This is exactly what we love about Free Fire. Just a bloodbath. Just fight.
Just fight. And like the thing is that the game is so fast-paced itself that, you know, you can use fast cards in this game. So that's how fast this game is, really. But it's mostly quite surprising as well to see that some of these teams, particularly from that first page, actually struggling quite a bit here on the second day. And, you know, like we said, it's probably a resurgence of those teams that were, you know, kind of like left out on the lurch on the first day, now coming back into their level of confidence here, and certainly have already identified more things they could have done that a little bit better from the first day and now applying it in this second day. But I think something else also to be said about these like final circle fights that are just turning out like absolute chaos, you know, a literal war zone in the middle of a tiny circle. Axis Esports will, you know, try to hold on with they might, but unfortunately, I think they were the first ones at this building itself. It just got completely swamped by Heavy, and then later by VGM, hot dropping. First Raiders as well took control over the second floor as well as the rooftop. But man, what a messy fight, but it was still Heavy that came out on top here with 23 points to their name. First Raiders was the second best there with only 15 points, more placement points there rather than kills. But speaking of kills though, Expand, in spite of getting 8 kills in total, you know, they literally got dropped out very early on, only 1 placement point for them.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate, right? They got caught out in the open with 2 teams just cross-firing them. It's not something that they would have wanted, but they did had Team Flash getting, you know, being wiped. So the gap between the second and third, it just got them widened a bit. This is what a great day too. We get teams from the second page really closing the gap, and having more contenders to kind of, you know, make phase 2 more interesting is kind of what we were looking for, and MDH was the first to make it happen because, you know, they got more points than King of Gamers Club, means that the gap between them and KOG would also be extended by just a bit.
Just a little bit, and that little bit might just be enough. We'll see as the days will continue on in phase number 2 here, ladies and gentlemen, and with Heavy having done heavy damage to some of these teams here, and especially in that final fight here, 13 headshots and a total 6,500 odd damage here. I would like to see a lot more heavy, you know, in this phase 2 here. I mean, I already love what I saw from Buffalo's skills.
Yes.
I want to see a lot more of that, but I also want to see at the same time how heavy really handles these very high pressure, close quarter fights. And, you know, this one here definitely didn't disappoint, though. They handled it so well by, you know, biding their time, waiting for the right moment to come in. And in spite of the curveballs that have been thrown in with guys literally dropping from the sky, they still were able to come on top, took out Axis, took out First Raiders, as well as took out BGM.
And just within one round, Heavy has pushed themselves past 4th place and now in 3rd. Semnite and Expand retain their current position. Team Flash pushed down to 4th. V Gaming Esports still in 5th, and MDH secures 6th spot by the end of day 2. KOG though having a bit of a rough one in the last round. But good news is First Raiders, Eclipse, and DEWA United Esports are basically beside each other on the rankings. FARANG and Axis also having the same treatment for themselves, and Anxiety will have to kind of be at the bottom for now.
Yeah, super disappointing round is actually for FARANG as well, because I think they got caught out inside the blue zone. We didn't get to see on stream what exactly happened to them before that final circle, but I did see a couple of members of FARANG still stuck outside the blue zone. Maybe they're getting sniped at for some reason, but that certainly has costed them dearly in this round here, because they started off, you know, kind of in 8th spot. Now both First Raiders as well as DEWA United have overtaken them completely, so they're gonna have to, you know, try and get more consistent rounds, I think, tomorrow, because, you know, despite getting the booyah in the 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't really found that level of success yet again. Maybe they might be able to find it with the different map pool that we'll be having for tomorrow, as in day number 3, because instead of Purgatory and Alpine, we're going to be starting things off and ending things with Bermuda and Kalahari. Kalahari especially is a map that FARANG themselves love, so we'll love to see if they can perform well in that. Then after Bermuda Kalahari, we'll be back to Purgatory and Alpine, or however you want to pronounce it. Nevertheless, though, that's going to be the plan that comes for day number 3.
Of course, tomorrow would be the last day for the first week of phase 2, and of course we have 3 more play days next week to find out which top 6 teams will make it to Jakarta. But tomorrow is going to be kind of the halfway point where teams will have to close out on a strong note before we proceed into the last week. All of this only made a reality with our partners and friends over Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters, they put this together, and we are very honored to be a part of it. And right now, we are 2 seasons strong. We're still going, and you know, we started from just purely online tournament, and now we have big LAN events in Jakarta. We had one in Thailand, you know, I think a month or 2 ago as well for a different title, so that is awesome. But what's more awesome is that this is all powered by Samsung Galaxy, who just joined this big family of ours as well. So we are just going stronger and stronger, bigger and bigger. And not to forget, we also have Monster Energy constantly powering everyone behind the scenes, unleashing the beast within all of us. So check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. Last but not least, if you want to power your games with great deals and game top-ups, look no further than www.kachishop.com. And just in case you haven't gotten the memo, over the course of 3 weeks, Jakarta is where the finals will be for the challenge stage. 4th and 5th February in 2023. Mark down your calendars, cancel all your plans. If you have an anniversary, celebrate it there with the crowd of Indonesia, because it's going to be a banger of a finals.
Oh, it's certainly going to be a celebration just especially for you Free Fire fanatics out here in Southeast Asia, because, you know, all the best teams, all the best players, all the best plays are going to be happening right in Jakarta itself. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of day number 2. So my name is Victor Cax. His name is Husky. We've been your commentators for day 2. Make sure you guys join us again for day number 3 as we continue on phase 2 with the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge Group Stage. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, it is good night and good luck to all of you back home.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look.